What's on TV? The answer is a lot. There's never been more choice over what to put on the box with an abundance of great new shows, but you can miss them all if you don't know where to look. And that's where the Pilot TV podcast comes in, your essential guide to every show that matters. Each week we sift through the very best in prestige TV to help you decide what's worth spending your time on and what isn't. So join me, James Dyer, as well as venerable TV critics Boyd Hilton and Kay Ribeiro, and let us help take the stress out of your downtime. The Pilot TV podcast, because you can't watch everything.
You can't do much in under 5 minutes. Boil an egg? Sure. Cook a roast dinner? No chance. But comparing car insurance prices with mustard.co.uk? Easy. See what you could save in just a few minutes. Click mustard.co.uk. Authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority. See website for details.
It's game day, and this is the home of Scottish football. It's Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Good afternoon, welcome to Clyde One Super Scoreboard on a huge weekend across Scottish football. Celtic looking to keep up their unbeaten start to the league season amid talks of silent protests and what to do with an out-of-form Daisen Maeda. Elsewhere, some cracking 3 o'clock games: St Mirren Dundee, Dundee United Kilmarnock, Hearts Falkirk. Then later, how much pressure is on Jimmy Tillene at Fir Park? And speaking of pressure, Russell Martin takes his search for a First League win to Livingston tomorrow. I'm Gordon Duncan, and joining me, 3 men who don't feel any pressure whatsoever. It's Gordon DL, Cammy Bell and Hugh Keevins.
You have got to do today's Premiership football by the numbers. Celtic and Hearts can go 12 points ahead of Rangers if they beat Hibs and Falkirk respectively, putting Russell Martin under even greater pressure at Livingston tomorrow. Celtic take on a Hibs side who have gone 22 games over 15 years without a win at Celtic Park, and they haven't won any of their last 6 games since this season started. But what about these stats? Jimmy Tillene takes Aberdeen to Motherwell with no points, bottom of the league, no goals, and he has won 4 games for Aberdeen in all of 2025. Now, if those are not grounds for dismissal, Daz, I don't know what is.
Yeah, it's got to be very interesting tonight at Fir Park. But first, there's a lot of good games in the Premiership, Gordon. None bigger than Celtic Park. Obviously, Celtic with their European campaign, good draw away from home the other night there. But interesting to see what the team's going to be. Will they mix it up a little bit? Hibs come calling, not in the greatest of form. Hearts Falkirk, be a real good game there as well. Dundee United Kilmarnock, St Mirren Dundee, and then we'll be looking forward to Fir Park. But lots of good games up and down the leagues as well.
Brilliant afternoon of football ahead of us. Again, as Daz said there, Celtic v Hibs is a tasty one, but also I think there's a big opportunity for Hearts to go and get another 3 points on the board and get that gap further ahead of Rangers. And then the big one I'm looking forward to is Motherwell v Aberdeen, because I think there's a tasty one there. Motherwell are a very good team and are in form, and Aberdeen under a huge amount of pressure, so lots to play for this afternoon.
Absolutely, strap yourselves in. This is Scottish football, so you know drama and excitement is guaranteed. Lots to get through between now and 6 o'clock. Of course, I will give you the nod later on when it's time to share your thoughts on the phone lines as well. But for now, you can stay in touch throughout the afternoon on Twitter at Clyde SSB. There is only one place to start. The third game in a third different competition this week for Celtic. Talk of protests, even a debate yesterday about what to do with Daisen Maeda. Gabriel has all the answers.
The champions Celtic's Europa League adventure started midweek, but full focus returns to domestic duties today and defending their title. If you were to tell fans here that they'd be 9 points clear of Rangers after just 5 games, they would be understandably delighted and perhaps think they'd have a comfortable lead at the top of the table. But down to the early season brilliance of Hearts, they remain tied in first place. And many eyes here may be glancing over to Tynecastle this afternoon when Derek McInnes' men host Falkirk, but it's the other team team from Edinburgh here in the East End of Glasgow this afternoon. Hibs are in town on a day where fans will begin escalating protests against the board. And more on that later, Gordon, but let's do team news first of all. With Braga coming here on Thursday night, Rodgers has understandably and possibly for the first time in the league this season shaken things up a bit. 5 changes in total. Donovan, Tierney and Negron are on the bench. Hatate and Yang are out altogether. In come Ralston, Saraki, Engels, McCowan and Iheanacho. So both fullbacks given a rest from midweek and the central midfielders swapped out as well. Most interestingly, Rodgers keeps Dyson Maeda in the team despite bringing Iheanacho in from the start. Now, yesterday in his press conference, Rodgers said he can't underestimate how difficult it's been for the Japanese forward in recent weeks, but that he cannot allow himself to wallow in his transfer window disappointment. Now, Maeda will play on one of the wings today, but we'll have to wait and see if it is the left or the right. So the team is as follows: Kasper Schmeichel in goal, a defence of Tony Ralston, Cameron Carter-Vickers, Liam Scales and Saraki. Callum McGregor, Arne Engels and Luke McCowan are in midfield. Dyson Maeda and Seb Tunekti on the wings. Kelechi Iheanacho up top. It's Sinisalo, Negron, Balak Wisha, Kenny, Bernardo, Forrest, Murray, Donovan and Tierney on the bench. The visitors have had a real mixed bag to start the campaign. They so nearly made it into European group stage football, a couple of heartbreaking late losses. They are unbeaten in the league, leaving them in 4th position, but 4 of their 5 matches have ended level. They're yet to win a home game in any competition. Away stadiums have actually been a happier hunting ground for David Gray's men, but they haven't won here since 2010. They've only won once in the last 9 meetings between these two. Just 2 changes for Gray from the midweek 2-2 draw with Falkirk. Rocky Bashiri misses out entirely. Nicky Cadden drops to the bench. In come Grant Hanley and Jack Iredale. Zach Mitchell is amongst the substitutes for the first time. So it'll be Raphael Salinger in goal. Warren O'Hora, Grant Hanley and Jack Iredale at the back. Josh Mulligan and Jordan Obita are the wing backs, with Daniel Barlaza and Miguel Chaiwa in the middle. Martin Boyle and Jamie McGrath support Kieran Bowie, who leads the line. Substitutes: Smith, Levitt, the 2 Cadden brothers, Klidje, Hoylett, Mitchell, Campbell and Molotnikov. The referee is Don Robertson, the VAR Stephen McLean, and kick-off is about 50 minutes away.
We had a healthy debate and discussion last night, Hugh, fuelled by some interesting comments from Brendan Rodgers about what to do with Dyson Maeda. He said, don't fall into the trap of thinking this is not fair. He backed him to get his form back when he stayed in the team today.
Brendan Rodgers can't afford to dismiss Dyson Maeda, even though since the season started he's been a shadow of the player who was player of the season before. He's had 1 brave-headed goal against Kilmarnock at Rugby Park, and for the most part he has toiled, other than that afternoon in Ayrshire. But he's too good a player to dismiss, and he could form a very interesting front 3 with Iheanacho and Tunekti. So I think Brendan Rodgers has done the right thing, and the support will get behind Maeda because he's a real figure among the Celtic supporters. They think he's great, so he'll get their support after the 12 minutes have gone and they start to talk.
Do you not think the big question mark is where will he play today?
Right hand side.
Well, I've spoken about that in the last couple of shows, and a lot of people seem to tell me that he's not favoured there at all.
See, just on that, the interesting thing is last week at the press conference, that's definitely the impression Brendan Rodgers gave, but yesterday he was a bit more open to the idea. It's almost like he's come round to it in the space of a week.
I have baffled me when people were saying, oh, Brendan Rodgers probably doesn't fancy him off the right, I think he could be tailor-made to play off the right. I think just a change of position for him out the right-hand side. I totally agree with you. If you're looking to say we might have to sell him in January, you got to play him. You got to keep playing him. Now, the one thing you know he's got ability. He can get back in there. He's apparently a great professional, great lad. He loves his football. He's just lost a little bit of form. That happens to footballers, but he's not lost his ability. He's not lost his talent. A big game for him today. I would love to see him the right hand side this afternoon.
To be fair though, Cammy, according to his manager, this is not me projecting, it's not just he's lost his form, it's potentially because he thought he was leaving. And Brendan Rodgers says that even sometimes that can subconsciously play a part. The more worrying thing would be if it was consciously, and it was a kind of downing of the tools, which he doesn't really strike you as the type, so we'll give him the benefit of the doubt and say subconsciously. But yeah, the worry is that it's more than just a player who's out of form.
Yeah, listen, I think when a move doesn't happen for you, naturally you are a little bit disappointed, but listen, Maid is going to be at Celtic between now and January, so all he can do to enhance his chances of moving on, do well for the club that he's at, which he strikes me as a person who really does want to do well. As you mentioned, Dylan Toolan, I don't see that within his personality. I think he'll go out there. He's just lost a little bit of form, whether that's natural or there's a little bit of mentality playing on it. But see, for me, the biggest thing that Brendan Rodgers can do is keep playing him. I think you just keep playing him. He will get over this hurdle. He's a top player. He's shown that last season that he can be a top player, and I think he will get back to it. I just think he's going through a sticky spell at the moment. It's probably tied in with that transfer not happening, but once he gets over this hurdle, I mean, he'll be such an important player between now and January, certainly for Celtic.
I think it's important everybody moves on, in a sense, Gordon, from the transfer window. Brendan Rodgers, the players, the fans, it's in no one's interest to keep harping on about it. But what you do see now is the outcome of that, or Celtic are absolutely stacked on the other side. You add Jota potentially back into that, whether you agree or not. I think obviously the left remains Dyson Maida's more favoured position than the right hand side. But the right hand side is lacking in comparison.
Yeah, it's a bit of weakness there, you've got to say. We know that there's experience of James Forrest, but James Forrest is that situation in his career. He's an impact player. He'll come off the bench, he'll fill in the cup games for you. Of course he will. He's still got the ability. Yang, Hugh's favourite player, has been given chance after chance after chance and never grasped any of them. So you're starting to write him off, and that's why I think today, and it could be wrong because Maeda might go and start on the left, we never know, but I would love to see him out on the right hand side. I think he could fill a problem position just now for Celtic, Gordon, for the short term.
On the subject of moving on from the window, the disconnect between the Celtic fans and the club over that window. Saw a photograph this morning of the owner, Dermot Desmond, at Bethpage, watching the Ryder Cup. I could just imagine the Celtic supporters saying, absentee landlord, away to see Rory McIlroy in New York. And meanwhile, back at the ranch, 12 minutes of silence, and even more minutes of silence against Braga midweek in the Europa League. But
I know where I'd be, to be fair.
I would like to back him up there. I'd be the exact same.
Cammy, it's the first programme I've ever done where two of them are watching the golf.
Amazing.
And momentarily they think, the football. But the crowd are not willing to move on. I do think the silence at Celtic for 12 minutes is detrimental to the team. No doubt about it. If you're chanting sack the board, it's just another background noise for the players to deal with. But silence is not good.
Yeah, we're going to get back to that for sure. I'm going to wait until the stadium fills up a bit and get Gabriel to tell us what is going on there. 3 other big games kicking off at 3 o'clock. Why don't we do this closest to home and work our way out? St Mirren against Dundee, watched by Andrew McLean.
Yeah, well, what a high it was for everyone connected to St Mirren, the manager Stephen Robinson, the players, the fans as well, that spilled onto that pitch at Rugby Park last Friday to celebrate getting through to the Premier Sports Cup semi-finals. They now know they'll face Motherwell at Hampden at the start of November, but it's back to the bread and butter of Premiership football for the time being, and they're at home here at the Smythe Stadium for the first time in over a month. But you look, last time out in the league, they also got their first league win as well, away to Falkirk. So it has been positive all round for the fans, the supporters here that will surely be packing this place out. Real positivity surrounding St Mirren at the moment. Dundee also got their first league win of the season in their last outing. It was that 3-2 thrilling victory at home to Livingston. Stephen Presley says that's enhanced the spirit and the unity of his group after a bit of an indifferent start to the season, I think it's fair to say, and also that negativity that surrounded some fans, with his initial appointment in the summer as well. But they do have some positive signs as well. One of those, Cameron Congreve, who looks like a real shining light for them in recent games, 3 assists in his last 2 matches. But a big blow for Dundee, because he won't be able to provide for one of Dundee's other main men, because Simon Murray travelled down with the squad, was due to start, but a sickness bug has ruled him out, and he's now back on his way to Dundee. So I'll bring you that Dundee team after I tell you the St Mirren one. 2 changes for St Mirren, and it's injuries that have forced them into some changes as well. Mark O'Hara and Keanu Bacchus both out the squad completely. In come Liam Donnelly and Roland Adowu. So it's Shamal George in goal for them. Richard King, Alex Gogic, who takes the captain's armband, and Miguel Freckleton are the back 3. Jayden Richardson and Declan John are the wing backs, with Killian Phillips, Liam Donnelly and Roland Adowu in the centre of midfield. Jonah Ayunga and Mikael Mandron up top, Mandron passing a late fitness test. meaning he is available to play today. The substitutes: Mullen, Tanzer, Sobowale, Taylor, McMenamin, Dykesdale, Calvin, Lundulu and Mooney. As for the visitors, Yogan and, as I mentioned, Simon Murray dropping out. In comes Samuels and Hayes, so it's John McCracken in goal for them today. The back three: Clark Robertson, Ryan Astley and Luke Graham. It'll be Dre Wright and Amari Samuels as the wing-backs, Ethan Hamilton and Finn Robertson in midfield, with Joe Wesley, Cameron Congreve supporting Ashley Hay up top. The substitutes: O'Hara, Ingram, Cometio, Donnelly, Aqua, Yogan, Riley, Galabov and Jones. The referee for this one in Paisley is Matthew McDermott. The VAR is Callum Scott.
Like the look of that fixture, in fact, like the look of them all. Let's go to the capital. Hearts against Falkirk. Fraser Wishart is there.
Yes, afternoon Gordon, afternoon everybody. Plenty of chat in the media this week from Hearts. Andrew McKinlay, the chief executive, he was saying that he does think the Hearts could win the league if it might not be this season. Derek McInnes said in midweek that people are dying for Hearts to lose. I'm not sure that's true. There'll be very few with that thought in their mind here today, because Hearts fans will fill Tynecastle and enjoying their great start to the season. I said a couple of weeks ago, it's difficult to keep momentum going at this time of the season with international breaks and cup ties, and Hearts didn't play in the cup last weekend, so they're out of the cup and they wanted to capitalise, I'm sure, on that great win at Ibrox a fortnight ago. It was the last time they played. There's been big investment, as we know, over the summertime, and it's working so far, and games like this are absolutely vital if they're to keep up the pressure at the top of the table and keep up with Celtic, because they're on the same points as them, of course, at the top of the table at this moment. Certainly got plenty of options all over the pitch now. In fact, probably too big a squad, but the new forwards like of Braga and Kizaridis are exciting the supporters, and I expect Hearts to get the supporters on side and start really aggressively and on the front foot. But Falkirk will come and play their way. They like to keep possession. They'll try and keep the ball and frustrate the opposition in the home side, and John McGlynn knows his side won't be able to dominate the game as they have done in the last couple of years, but they do have pace in their team in the wide areas, like Calvin Miller. He's been excellent throughout this run to the top level and doesn't look out of place at all in the Premiership. Real threat on the wide areas. And young Ethan Williams as well, on loan from Man United, he also carries a threat on the break, so their chance of getting something might depend on whether they can defend well at the other end. And on loan centre back Lewis Nielsen, he started every game so far this season. Of course he can't play because Hearts are his parent club. I think Falkirk's problem is they've scored 7 goals in 5 league games. Sounds good, but they've conceded 9. But as always, it will not be dull here at Tynecastle. I think an exciting minutes ahead, and I think there'll be plenty of goals at both ends. Unsurprisingly, the team news for Hearts, they're unchanged from that team that won at Ibrox, 4-3-3 formation. Alexander Shvolov is in goals, Ushin McEntee, Craig Halkett, Stuart Finlay, Stephen Kingsley across the back, Cammy Devlin, Benny Beningame and Harry Milne in the midfield, with Claudio Braga and Alexander Kizaridis wide, and Lon Shankland through the middle of the attack. Subs are Xander Clark, Jimmy McCart, Elton Kabangu, Michael Steinvender, Blair Spittle, Alan Forrest, James Wilson, Thomas Magnuson and Sabah Katoja. For Falkirk, they made one change with the team that drew in midweek against Hibs, and that was enforced, as I said earlier. Nielsen goes out, and young Philip Lisa is on loan from Swansea, comes in at centre back. So their team is Scott Bain in goals, Keelan Adams, Philip Lisa, Liam Henderson and Liam McCann across the back, Brad Spencer and Harry Cartwright in midfield, with Ethan Williams, Dylan Tate and Calvin Miller behind the striker Ross McKeever. The subs for Falkirk: Nicky Hogarth, Thomas Lang, Brian Graham, Alfredo Aguiman, Gary Oliver, Connor Allen, Scott Arfield, Sam Hart and Trey Samuel Ogunyusi. And the referee today at Tynecastle is Lloyd Wilson, and the VAR is Greg Aitken.
Dundee United against Kilmarnock. Every single fixture today has got a nice look about it. David Friel is keeping an eye on that one.
Yeah, this should be a cracker, Gordon. I don't know if I was the only one, but I felt a wee bit sorry for Dundee United in midweek. It's all the Aberdeen crisis talk dominated things after that Tannadice match, and I think maybe another impressive performance and result for Jim Goodwin's side was probably overlooked a little bit. They came into this game in third place. They've been in really good form, as they showed in that 2-0 win on Tuesday night. In fact, their main setback recently was losing at Kilmarnock in the Premier Sports Cup, so I'm sure they will have revenge on their mind today. Jim Goodwin, well, he talked about his transfer business. He looked outside Scotland for his summer signings, but I think in the likes of Ivan Dolcek, guys like that, he's done a lot of smart business. United had a really good start to the season. They look a really, really good team. Croatia now has 5 league goals this season. He's been a real find, but I think Jim Goodwin has quality all over the pitch, and I'm sure he will be looking at this game as one where he should be getting 3 points from, want to put a bit of pressure on Hearts above them and maybe a bit of pressure on Hibs below them, depending on what happens at Celtic today. As for Kelly, they've taken a couple of sore ones in the last couple of weeks. They lost that last minute penalty against Celtic. They then went out of the Premier Sports Cup on penalties to St Mirren. Stuart Ketwell, who's speaking this week, he's adamant there won't be a hangover. He's expecting a big performance from his players today. Like United, they've earned a lot of praise for their performances, but they've yet to register a league win this season, 4 draws and a defeat from their 5 games. If they are going to change that, they will need to improve their away form. Kelly have won just 1 of the last 15 games on the road in the league. It's been a problem for a while now, and Stuart Kettlewell, I'm sure, will be looking for another big performance today. United have stuck with the same team that won against Aberdeen on Tuesday. It looks like the usual 3-4-3 formation. Yevhen Kucherenko in goals, back three of Yuri Yovo, Bert Esselink and Christian Kerestes. Lucas Stevenson, Vichko Seve, Panucci Kamara and Will Ferry will be across the middle, with Ivan Dolcek and Amar Fata beside Zach Sapsford in attack. Subs for United are Richard Strain, Eskison, Sibbald, Namo, Cleo Harding, Constable and Mola. As for Kelly, just one change from the St Mirren defeat. Bruce Anderson made an impact when he came off the bench, so he comes in for Gennaro Daniels, and he'll form a very little and large partnership with Marcus Daka. So it's Max Stryk in goals for Kelly, George Stanger, Lewis Mayo and Robbie Dees at the back, James Brown, David Watson, Liam Polworth, Greg Kiltie and Dom Thompson across the middle, with Bruce Anderson and Marcus Stackers in attack. Subs for Kelly are Beach, Williams, McKenzie, Schilt, Brown, Lyons, Watkins, Daniels and Brannan. The referee at Tannadice is Ross Hardy and the VAR is Nick Walsh.
The stage is set then ahead of the 3 o'clock games up and down the country. We will pause for reflection on the teams, and we'll all get together for a discussion on the week's biggest talking points when we return.
The fastest goals, the experts' opinions. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Hugh Keevins, Gordon Dalziel and Cammy Bell are in the studio. We've got the top team round the grounds who've already delivered us the team news ahead of 4 big games at 3 o'clock. We will go back to them, Celtic Park included. But as always at this stage on a Saturday, let's reflect on some of the week's other big talking points. And yet again, Hugh Keevins, my question to you is, what's happening with Russell Martin?
I have never ever experienced a situation like this where a manager is detested, and I think I use the word advisedly. He is detested by the Rangers.
This season, I want to feel it from the start, from the whistle, from the first touch. Want to beat the odds, want to take an early lead, want to see why he costs so much money, want to shout "pen" before the ref is even called in, want to see the call go our way for once. I want to hear their lot go quiet. Want to see them leave early. Want to drop into the group chat to tell them, "I've seen the future." Want to hear them agree. And if not, I'll say, "Want to bet? Bet Fred." 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
Oh, Jamie's got a new car. He only passed his test last week. Chloe and the kids on the school run and their new hybrid, and the Flemings from 23 off to see their daughter at uni. Get car and van insurance that's right up your street at parkerscompare.com. Created by the experts at Parkers, we're 100% independent and dedicated to helping you find the right insurance policy. Quick and easy, you could compare quotes in just 5 minutes from some of the UK's leading providers. For car insurance comparisons you can trust, visit parkerscompare.com. Authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority. See website for details.
Supporters, and the criticism is on a very personal level into the bargain. I think Andrew Kavanagh now has to ask himself, did he appoint the right people in terms of the chief executive and director of football? Because they in turn appointed Russell Martin, and that decision is rebounding on them in a horrible fashion. Rangers are in a mess, an absolute mess, and anything goes wrong at Livy tomorrow, then I fail to see how they cannot respond and act accordingly, because today they may go 12 points behind Celtic and Hearts, or Celtic and or Hearts, and 6 games into the season the place is a mess.
The way the players train, the way they stick together in the second half, the feeling inside the training ground. So I can't control anything else apart from that. I work, learn from tonight, have a bit of perspective on tonight and how difficult it was after the red card. Because whether you like it or not, it changes a lot when you're down to 10 men for so long in a game, in a European tie. So learn from it, especially the first half, where we hurt ourselves a little bit and got trapped too much. And then get ready to prepare and perform and win on Sunday.
You still believe that you have the full support of everyone here at the club, and you still believe that you're capable of going and recovering a bit of ground?
Yeah, I don't think a game tonight where we're down for 10 men that long changes things a huge amount in terms of that. So I feel nothing but support from them.
David Friel, do you agree with that last sentiment? Do the circumstances on Thursday evening mean that his position can't be considered worse now than it was last week, or is that not the case?
No, I don't buy that at all, Gordon. I would also argue that 11v11, I think Genk, who aren't any great shakes really, looked the better team. I thought they carried more of a threat. And how many times have we seen over the years 10 men make it really difficult for their opponents? I felt Genk every time they went forward looked as if they were scoring. I mean, I know Ole was meant to be going for 24 million or something, but if he could finish, he would genuinely would be worth that, because he could have walked away with 5 goals the other night. No, I think it's another damaging defeat for Russell Martin. As Hugh said, it doesn't look to be any better. The fans have clearly lost any faith they had, and I think the majority of Rangers fans probably didn't want him in the first place. I can only see this ending one way, but he does talk like a man who has been told that he has the backing of his owners and his board no matter what, but you just wonder how long it can continue.
Yeah, Andrew Kavanagh was there the other night. Fraser Wishart, he had to take an earful from some of the fans round him, and at this stage there is nothing to suggest that he's of a mind to make a managerial change.
No, not on the surface, Gordon, but Andrew Kavanagh has been watching it probably from afar. Very successful businessman, very successful in the sporting environment. He won't have come across this kind of supporter involvement and supporters making their feelings known, not only about his appointment as manager but also about him personally. And the Rangers fans welcomed with open arms. It was relief. They were so happy the 49ers came in, so they've got to just be careful of what they actually want, if they're having a go at Kavanagh, etc., who have invested money in the club. But it's difficult for me not to feel for Russell Martin as an individual person, because as you said, it's becoming personal. I'm never comfortable at any club where it's a mob mentality, pitchforks at the door, but of course you've got to listen to supporters, and the danger for Rangers last couple of home games, they weren't on the season ticket of course, but there were plenty of empty seats as well, and if the anger becomes apathy, then that's a danger for the board of directors, who of course have got to run the club. They've got to make money, they've got to keep the club afloat. So interesting times ahead. I did feel for him the other night when Diomande was sent off, because that was a chance he's gone, really. But at that point, you see it, not just Russell Martin, but other managers as well. This refusal to change because there's one way of playing. Go and just dig in. It could be 0-0. They might get one player sent off. You might get a breakaway, a free kick in a good area. But the grind out a result, even 0-0 gets you a good result. But he's living game to game, and you can't see what would the implications be if they lose tomorrow or drop 2 points tomorrow. So I do feel for Russell Martin, but it's almost there's no way back with a lot of supporters, and that's a dangerous position to be in.
What do you think, Cammy? Does the red card let him off the hook in any way from midweek? I don't detect a lot of sympathy from the Rangers fans, but it must make your job considerably harder within a football game.
Yeah, listen, it does. It's a key factor in the game and the result, but there's other factors as well for me. They weren't good enough with 11 players on the pitch. Yes, that 10-man impacts the way you can go and approach the second half, but I don't think Russell Martin changed the way he approached the second half. And again, it's maybe one of them ones that you need to look and be a little bit more conservative and make sure you don't concede a goal. Rangers have been conceding far too many goals this season. And he doesn't do that. They concede a goal, they give up far too many chances. I mean, Genk could have been out of sight in the first half. Absolutely should have been if they had a top striker on the pitch. So yeah, there's so many factors in it. Again, I don't know where the American owners' heads are at, because it kind of looks like everything he's saying, and he has been consistently saying, that he isn't under pressure. He keeps on saying, I can't control what's happening. He can control it by winning games of football. So he can control it by winning games, which will dampen down the noise. And again, that's what I've said consistently. The only way he can keep his job is if he wins games of football, and he's not doing that at this moment in time.
It's becoming very repetitive already, though, Hugh. The cycle of poor performance, poor result, in the eyes of the Rangers fans, poor post-match press conference, poor pre-match press conference for the next game. It feels like every phrase he utters is getting the backs up of the Rangers fans. What was the one the other night? Just it's a throwaway line about it is what it is, I think he said. The Rangers fans didn't like that. Again, he reiterated that they look good in training. I saw one, I know it's not the place to joke Glasgow when it comes to football, but I saw one quite humorous tweet that said no wonder they look good in training if the other team's set up by Russell Martin as well. Maybe a bit unfair, but yeah, it's a cycle at the moment, and I don't know when it breaks.
The Rangers supporters have lost hope, and some who have lost hope have stopped going to the matches. You cannot have that. Andrew Kavanagh is a businessman. He must appreciate a severe loss of revenue. They are without hope because they dislike everything about Russell Martin, whether it's his demeanour or his tactics and they want a new manager. And we live in an era where managers get no time. West Ham United have sacked Graham Potter today. He's had 25 games in charge of the club. 25, he's out. We had the amazing case in the Bundesliga of Erik ten Hag, 2 games at Bayer Leverkusen. He was out. So we live in an era where it is the norm, or it is becoming the norm, to get rid of managers quickly. And the Rangers supporters see no future under Russell Martin. And as Cammy Bell said, only results can change that attitude of mind. They are away to Libby tomorrow. Then they're in Austria to play Sturm Graz in the Europa League. And then they go to Falkirk. Russell Martin has got to win all 3 of those games, I think.
At some point, I will have to stop asking, could he survive failure to win tomorrow? But go on, I'll go again. Give me the latest instalment.
I don't know. I'm finding it an incredible situation. I think he looks a manager out of his depth. I don't think he's doing any favours with his press conferences to the Rangers fans to win them round. Correct. He's got to start winning games. You don't see a lot of evidence in that. Okay, he got through against Hibs at Ibrox last week in the Cup. He's into a semi-final. He's got 3 away games. He'll probably be quite happy being away from Ibrox out the road. But it's a difficult one tomorrow. Look, I don't know what the board inside the club are seeing that every other person, pundits, supporters, everybody's looking from the outside thinking he's not taking Rangers forward.
No.
So I don't know what the board are seeing, and that's a massive question you've got to ask yourself.
I've never known someone to be rejected both as a manager and as a person. Yeah, I keep going back to this personal aspect, but it's perfectly obvious. Last night, for example, and you showed me the photographs, Gordon, he appears at his press conference wearing a pair of specs, and it created a storm. Now, a storm over spectacles. I mean,
you of all people.
Yeah.
the one and the original.
Yeah. But I mean, it's anything, absolutely anything that he does is picked upon by the Rangers fans. How long can Andrew Kavanagh allow this to exist before his businessman's instincts kick in and he's forced to admit his mistake in appointing Kevin Thelwell, his mistake in appointing Patrick Stewart, their mistake in appointing Russell Martin?
I think you're right, Hugh. I think there's more to it than just the manager. Things don't seem to be going well behind the scenes there. They look like a group of guys that you mentioned there, Thelwell and Patrick Stewart and everybody, that's just they're digging in and they're all backing each other. They've got each other's, because they know the Rangers fans are totally against them. They want them out of the club. If Hearts and Celtic win today and Livy do get something tomorrow, Rangers are massive problems already.
Yeah, these are all big ifs, right? So we'll revisit that at 5 o'clock. But same question as what to go round. Would anything change with a failure to win at Livingston tomorrow?
I think the cynic in me says international break, next international break. If there have been 1, 2 bad results, I think the international break is traditionally when you say, right, do it now.
I think, for me personally, I think this change should have been made by now, but it's not been made. So that's just, again, the question mark of where the board's at. If they lose again tomorrow, the pressure just ramps up again. The fans will be heard even more. They're trying to force this issue. They're trying to force the change in management. Again, they're not happy with the way the club is being run in football-y. So it's a real mess. Rangers are in an absolute mess at this moment in time. They're 11th in the league and we're nearly out of September. That's incredible to think what Rangers are sitting in that position. No wins is just unthinkable. And if anybody had said this at the start, you wouldn't believe this could actually happen.
How big is tomorrow, Fraser?
I think it's huge. You asked the question, will he still be there Monday if they lose? It's so hard to judge. Normally you would say, with what's going on, you would say no. But as you guys have been discussing, then he seems to have the backing of the board, and I'm kind of with you. I think they'll probably, in Andrew Kavanagh and the rest of the guys' minds, they've probably got 3 games, 4 games, maybe they're thinking international break. Let's see where we are then. But the pressure's certainly racking up, and every single week people are discussing, or we're discussing as well as supporters, is this his last game? So tough times for Russell Martin.
It's interesting though. David, such is the depth of the negativity that Hugh alludes to, so little of this seems to be coming back on the players. Very rarely have I seen a situation where results and performances, by the way, because that's arguably more indicative of the way things are going, have been so poor, but players not really getting anywhere near the amount of criticism.
No, players aren't getting criticism. It's the same with officials as well. I mean, there was a couple of sort of kind of maybe contentious decisions during the week. I'm not talking about the red card, but I think the Rangers fans seem to be just kind of glossing over all that and just focusing purely on Russell Martin. I must admit, Gordon, the kind of personal side that Hugh was talking about does leave me feeling a bit uneasy. I don't like that. It's okay to talk about his managerial record, but I think it has gone over the score at some points. But the players, listen, the players need to do far better for their club. They're far better than they are shown, but I suppose that comes back to the argument, would another manager get more out of them? And to answer your question about tomorrow, I think it is huge for them, but we've been saying that for 4 weeks, and I just wonder where the next 3 away games he'll definitely be given them, and then Rangers will just take stock next weekend and see where they're at.
What a day it's going to be tomorrow, Livingston against Rangers, but for now we will go back around the grounds, starting with Celtic Park when we return.
Scottish football's league leader. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
15 minutes until kick-off in the 4 big Premiership games, and huge games down the divisions today as well. Celtic Park is going to be interesting on the field, but off the field as well. Gabriel, what is happening there? Bring us up to speed.
Yeah, Gordon, it's the first of escalating silent protests amid that continued unrest at the way the club is being run. Unrest generally at the board. We saw it at Kilmarnock a few weeks ago. The fans stayed outside of the stadium. That's some fans stayed outside the stadium for the first 12 minutes, then came in to support the team. They're going to be in here from the start, but I can already see them putting up those banners that we've seen so often with pictures of Michael Nickerson, Peter Lawwell, Dermot Desmond, with the traditional mark over their face, no thank you, as we would say, the ones that you also see of Russell Martin at Ibrox. But what we're getting today is something that a new umbrella group called the Celtic Collective announced yesterday. They're urging every fan to join in, so it's going to be a 12-minute silence, the 12-minute to signify the 12th man that Celtic supporters consider themselves. So a 12-minute silence today before they start singing. Then it's going to be a 29-minute silence in the Europa League on Thursday night here against Braga. And then against Motherwell next Sunday, it's going to be 32 minutes of quiet. So as I say, escalating silent protests, and the big question is how it affects the team. We spoke to Rodgers a couple of weeks ago after that Kilmarnock game, and he said it shouldn't affect the team because the team should be able to dictate how they start the match. Yes, the fans lift them and they're so crucial, but the team should be able to come out and start with intensity. But it didn't necessarily happen at Rugby Park. Will it happen today, Gordon? That's the big question. So 12 minutes from the Celtic fans of silence.
What do you think, Hugh? Because pretty much by definition, a protest is supposed to be disruptive to a point. It's supposed to make a point. It's supposed to have an element of shock, and that's why you do it. Is this the right way? Is this the right tone?
I always support protest because it's a legitimate part of society. If you feel you have a just grievance, you are entitled to protest. However, the silence will mean nothing to Peter Lawwell, it will mean nothing to Michael Nicholson, it will mean nothing to Chris Mackay, the finance director, and it will certainly mean nothing to Dermot Desmond because he's in Long Island watching the golf.
The McIlroy and Fleetwood are 4 up though, so he'll be
good for them.
well
However,
taken care of.
It will mean something to the players. Silence for me is counterproductive to the players, and I hope that those out with the Celtic Collective, and remember there'll be 60,000 people at Celtic Park, tens of thousands of whom will disapprove of the silence, well, it's up to them to make noise.
I mean, the dynamic in the stadium, though, Gordon, is that you know where the noise comes from, generally is in the corner, and if they stay quiet, and by the way, this is not just that corner, that's not what this is, as Gabriel says, it's the Celtic Collective, it's hundreds of supporters groups and all the rest of it. What do you make of this one, and in terms of the negative impact it might have? Today's interesting because it's 3 points and they're big 3 points, but I'm also thinking ahead, these famous European nights. Half an hour of silence potentially.
Yeah, it's a strange one how it's gone up. I can understand the 12 minute because of the 12th man, If you get 12 minutes of silence, I don't think it'll affect the players awfully, Gordon. You're an experienced player, you can come out and play in that. That's not a problem. The 30 odd minutes is going to be a funny situation, as you say, because Celtic players love coming out to that atmosphere in European nights. So that'll be an interesting one. But I think Hugh's right there. I don't know where it gets you. You know, getting in there, is it going to affect anything in the boardroom? I don't think it would. How can it?
I agree. I don't think it'll affect anything in the boardroom. Whether it'll affect the players, I don't think so. I think they'll be prepared for it. There's been enough publicity around this, and they'll know that it's going to happen. As you say, there still might be noise in the stadium, maybe not as much as they're used to, but they need to deal with it. They're there to get the job done, get 3 points, and try and move on. But again, it's not ideal, the unrest that's at Celtic. The players will know all around about this, but yeah, I think they'll just be there to try and get the job done.
I think Russell Martin would be delighted with that protest. He'd be saying, can we not have a 90-minute one of these for trial?
I was at Firhill last Sunday for Celtic against Partick Thistle, and the chanting against the board had zero effect on the board. I was looking at the director's box as it happened. So if the chanting does
how
not...
do you know though? Like what's the alternative? Do you know what I mean? They're not going to... What are they going to show to suggest that it's getting to them? You would just sit there sort of stony-faced. How do you know it has no impact?
Well, simply by looking at them. Again, it's all amateur psychology, body language, etc., but they look unmoved by it all. As I say, the owner is in Long Island watching the golf. I do believe that they are entitled to protest, but they're shifting the emphasis from the occupants of the director's box to those who are out on the park. I mean, a European tie with no noise for half an hour. That's counterproductive. Today is counterproductive. But those other Celtic supporters who are there have simply got to back the team vocally. I mean, middle-aged men and women can shout as well. You don't have to be in your teens or your early 20s.
But this is what I'm saying. It's not just that. This is... This Celtic collective, this is not a small group of young fans. This is a lot of people.
60,000 people is a lot of people, and if 30,000 of them stay silent, there's another 30,000 who can make noise.
No, you've been David Field, you go regularly. The majority of the stadium doesn't necessarily sing, does it?
No, look, in terms of the configuration of the stadium, most of the noise comes from the Green Brigade corner, basically, Gordon, and as you're saying, look, Celtic fans have every right to demand better, better transfer window than the board just delivered, a more modern structure, better engagement, all of the above. They are entitled to do that. I just don't know if this works. I suppose the counter argument to that is then what does work, what will make Michael Nicholson and Chris Mackay and Dermot Desmond, who's over watching the golf, what will make them listen. So I suppose those fans, and they deserve to be taken seriously, the Celtic collective, because it's a lot of bodies, deserve to be listened to. I'm just not sure that when you start doing silent protests it works. And as Brendan Rodgers has said twice, I think, over the last couple of weeks, when it starts affecting the team and affecting the games, I think that's when he draws a line and says, look guys, can we just try and get round the table maybe and talk things over, as opposed to just doing silent protests.
Right, semi-brief final thoughts on all your other games before we go. Let's go Andrew McLean, St Mirren Dundee.
Yeah, the St Mirren fans will be looking forward to this because, as I mentioned, that big trip to Hampden that they've got coming at the start of next month. The last game was, of course, that quarter-final win over Kilmarnock, and it is something that will be on all the minds of the fans here, because the last time they made it to any sort of Hampden semi-final was both semi-finals of the COVID season, so the fans didn't even get to go there, so you have to go back to 2013 to actually see a Hampden trip for these St Mirren fans. And Stephen Robinson just saying he's delighted he can repay these supporters by getting there, because really it was the one thing missing from his time in Paisley, wasn't it? 3 top 6 finishes, European football, but just unable to get a run like that in the cup competitions, which he fully well knew he was capable of. We saw that from his time at Motherwell, but it just opens up another door of possibility for the St Mirren team, who continually punch above their weight, and it's not by luck as well. They're organised, hard-working, adaptable. Their recruitment in the last few years has been really good as well. They keep on having to replace some top players that leave for bigger clubs or for bigger paychecks, and they seem to get it right every single season. So they'll be on a high, and Stephen Presley in the other dugout. We're hoping that he can build on their first league win last time out as well.
Yeah, brief thoughts from you, Fraser, as we approach kick-off. Hearts Falkirk.
Yeah, I think it's important that Hearts follow up on that win at Ibrox a couple of weeks ago, because if they don't, then all that good work, that big victory, sent a strong message to Scottish football will be undone. But the last time I was here, they played against Motherwell and they were 3 down after 60 minutes. Motherwell outplayed them and they managed to drag themselves back to get a 3-3 draw and get a point. So the last thing that Hearts want to do is to actually drop points here today. I don't think they will. I think they'll win comfortably 3 or 4-1.
And last but not least, Dundee United Kilmarnock. David Friel.
Yeah, I like what Stuart Kettlewell's doing at Kelly. Gordon, but I can't say anything other than a home win today. I think Dundee United have named the same team for the 4th successive game. They've got consistency, they've got a lot of pace, power, and they've got goals in them as well. So I think this will be a home win.
Looking forward to it. We go back for kick-off at Celtic Park next.
As it happens, and your reaction from 5 on the open line. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
3 o'clock on a Saturday is about one thing and one thing only: football, unless you're Gordon DL, who's watching the Ryder Cup as well. But nevertheless, we've got 4 big games to look forward to, then a huge evening coming up at Pittodrie as well, and to cap it all off, a big day in Livingston tomorrow. Let's go back to Celtic Park, where Gabriel will take us up to kick off though.
Yeah, Gordon, Hibs 4th in the league table and unbeaten in the league, but winless in 6, and they've not won at Celtic Park in 15 years. The Hoops yet to lose a game this campaign. They're looking to take the outright lead in the league, but they'll have to do it without the backing of many fans for the first 12 minutes. It is the first of escalating silent protests amid continued unrest at the way the club is being run. A banner from the Green Brigade corner reads, "Your silence is deafening," and sack the board in front of it. As you can hear, the 2 teams being led out by their captains at the moment. That will be Martin Boyle and Callum McGregor. Let's have a quick recap of the 11 then. We'll start with Celtic. 5 changes from Brendan Rodgers. It's Schmeichel in goal, Ralston, Kartavik, Scales and Saraki the back 4, McGregor, Engels and McCarran in the middle, Maida, Iheanacho and Tunexi the forwards. 2 changes for the visitors. Hibs, Salinger in goal, O'Hora, Hamley and Iredale at the back, Mulligan and Obita the wing backs, Barlaza and Chaiwa in the middle. Boyle and McGrath will support Bowie up top. Really interesting game here for both sides. As we know, Celtic ringing the changes. This game sandwiched in between 2 big Europa League fixtures, where you start to see the strength in depth in the squad. Is it as good as last season? Many fans will say it's not up to scratch, not where they want it to be. That's why we're seeing many protests, but it's still a strong Celtic 11 with a strong Celtic bench, and a first league start for Kelechi Iheanacho through the middle. Dyson Maida, who wanted away in the summer. Brendan Rodgers questioned his attitude a bit in midweek, but he starts and looks like he could be playing on the right wing with Tunekti on the left. We'll just have to wait and see. Hibs looking for just their 2nd win in the league, but they are 4th. 3 points today could push them even further up the table. Referee Don Robertson just coming over to the side here, Gordon, and we are about 1 minute away from kick-off in today's 3 p.m. Premiership matches.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard Goal Flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy. Get set for the season with expert pharmacy support.
Come on then, you hopeless duds, you 3 in the studio. You have 4 matches at 3 o'clock in the Premiership. Those are our featured games, and you need to tell me the outcomes today, starting with Hugh Keevins.
Home win Celtic, home win Hearts, home win Dundee United, home win St Mirren.
I'm going to go home win Celtic, a draw at Tannadice with Dundee United and Kilmarnock, home win for Hearts and home win for St Mirren.
Celtic, Hearts, St Mirren and Kilmarnock away at Dundee United.
Okay. I like your thinking. A lot of drama as predicted by these guys. You can stay in touch all afternoon at Clyde SSB. That is us. We are underway. 4 big games. I'll be honest, the first few weeks of the season were quite frustrating. We had games all over the place on Sundays and later on even Mondays. We dug into the Championship a few times, which we do enjoy, but it's nice to have a full card, or almost a full card, on a Saturday afternoon to take us through. So stay in touch throughout the day at Clyde SSB, and of course I will give you the nod when it's time to pick up that phone. And I suspect, Hugh, after the week we've had, there'll be quite a few talking points out there.
You know, it's getting harder and harder to talk about the football, because Celtic and Rangers, it's about external issues, and it would be nice if we could just get a good football match at Celtic Park that rises above the silence and gives us an indication of where Celtic are, because it's a much changed side. But in Iniacho, they may have hit gold. It will remain to be seen, but he certainly started well. Maeda has to get over what has gone on. He can also blame the Celtic board because they made a mess of the transfer window, but he can't sit there inactive for 3 months. If he does want to go in the January window, he'll need to play football. He'll need to be impressive. So, big afternoon for him and for all concerned at Celtic Park, and David Gray, because 6 games without a win, very unusual for him. The Hibs transformation has halted temporarily. Derek McInnes at Tynecastle doing a wonderful job. They must be strong favourites to win that comfortably, and good for Stephen Robinson. St Mirren keep going on. Dundee minus Murray, no Dundee. That's why I'm going for a home win there. And I'm astonished by the Dazzler taking Kilmarnock to win at Tannadice, where Jim Goodwin has really got United going.
Yeah, but I just feel that Kilmarnock can go up there, set up well and get something. Have we confirmed yet that where Maeda's playing, what wing he's playing?
Right hand side, Gabriel said.
Did he?
I mean, he wouldn't have known for sure before the game until they've lined up, so I'm sure he'll tell us right now. Just kicking off in a few different places. Actually, there was a minute's applause for Jimmy Bone at Tynecastle and St Mirren. First home game, Hugh, for both of those clubs.
I knew Jimmy, and I liked Jimmy very much. And you know, a man who was part of that unbelievable day for Partick Thistle when they beat Celtic 4-1 in the League Cup final. And Tony Watt carried on the tradition there by getting Partick Thistle a goal in the first minute against Dunfermline. Dunfermline, who were beaten midweek and are now a goal down at home after a minute. Not good.
Incidentally, just confirmation, as Hugh says, Partick Thistle are one up thanks to Tony Watt, but Dyson Maeda is playing off the right hand side. Any surprises there?
No, well, everybody kept saying that nobody fancied him off the right, and I was always questioning why. Right-footed player, bags of pace, doesn't like to come inside. I know that the argument could be the diagonal run that he makes from the left-hand side. I think that's a good move. I think if he can get him up and running again, I think it solves his problem that side, because on the left-hand side they've got a few options over there, and then when Jota comes back as well. So right now their weakness for me, for Celtic, if I see any, is in the right-hand side in the wing place. Maeda could fill that today.
The Championship is where it is at today. Ayr won, Airdrie already as well. Ethan Walker with the goal. Right hand side for Maeda. Cammy, any surprise for you?
No surprise. And again, as like we've kind of spoke about, with a new position, when you're out of form, you're looking for that little bit of spark in your game, which we know he's all got. Absolutely know he's got the ability to go and do that. It's maybe a nice fresh change for him to be out there and trying something different. So listen, as I said before, I think he'll find his form pretty quickly. He's a top player, and he's an important player for Celtic as well.
That front three has real potential
it
today.
Does, yep.
You know, Tunekti has played at Kilmarnock on the plastic. He's played against Red Star in Serbia, and at Firhill. Never played at Celtic Park yet. And the Celtic crowd will love him if he can be as good as he has been in the 3 previous matches. So they want to put an arm around Dyson Maeda as well. And in Iniacho, they found someone who scores important goals at important times.
First sight at goal for Celtic, and it's that man Maeda who beats his man down the right hand side. There's been so much talk about him, Gordon. The man who sclaffs the shot when it comes in, Arne Engels. Remember last season we couldn't get away from discussing him, because whether he played or he didn't, or he was good or he was bad, it was all about £11 million. He's had very, very limited game time this season.
Yeah, it's interesting they brought him in for such big money. I like him, Gordon. I know he's taking his time to settle in. There's one or two doubters. Obviously the price tag will always come into play, of course it will. He's a young player. He's got good competition in the middle left part. He's got an opportunity this afternoon. He's got to start grabbing these opportunities, because you know how difficult it is to get that starting place in the middle left part, because of the quality they've got. But I think that Ingles will eventually come good. I think he'll take his time. I think he's a progress in work, but I think he will come good, because I think he's got good ability.
He's a progress in work. You mean a work in progress?
That's what I mean.
It's taken him.
I thought that I got away with that.
It's
one
taken
there.
him till 3:05. I believe he appeared at the Open Goal Darts event last
So I'm
night,
told, yeah.
and he's actually surviving okay.
Yeah.
Certainly in comparison to how I thought he would when I saw him sprawled out on the couch in the office when I arrived this morning.
You looked well on the stage just in a few.
I was
few pictures.
looking great.
What was your walk-on song?
I changed. I went Amarillo.
Oh, rubbish.
I know. I should have went Sex Bomb, because that's what I'm a Sex Bomb cue.
Cliche, honestly. Seriously, Amarillo, rubbish.
It was great.
I thought more
It
of
was
you.
great. I was up in the seat leading the
I
sing
thought more
song.
of you. That's just too predictable. That.
Yeah.
Something with a bit more thought behind it.
Yeah, Roscoe come on to a slow dance.
That doesn't surprise me. That
That's
does
my-
not surprise me. Error flying out the traps, 2-0 up against Airdrie. Mark McKenzie adding to it. No goals yet in our featured Premiership matches. Go on, Hugh, then. Whilst we've got a lull, let's do this.
The first half teaser.
With the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
I need 10 answers here. 10. Over the past 10 years, 10 players have played for Hearts and Falkirk. Name any 5 of them. There you are. There are 10. I'll take 5. It sounds like the Barrows. I'll take 5. There you are.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that'll be easy.
Past 10 years, 10 players have played for Hearts and Falkirk. Name any 5.
I like it.
Yeah.
You happy with that?
Yeah.
Bit different.
One comes to my mind right away.
Repeat it again, please, Hugh.
Over the past 10 years, 10 players have played for Hearts and Falkirk. Name any 5 of them. 10 if you're a show-off.
Yeah, we only need 5 correct answers. If you want to try and win the first half teaser, we need 5 of the 10. You need to stick them all on one tweet at Clyde SSB, and you need to do it quicker than everyone else. For the rest of you who just want to take part in one way or another, just chuck some names in, send us a tweet, let's see what we can do. We'll work our way through it together and see if we can come up with the full set by the end of the first half. So at Clyde SSB, you reckon you've got 1, do you?
I think I've got 10, Gordon.
Now that would be a surprise.
It wouldn't be, because your seat's sitting there and I can read it.
There you go.
Especially when the answers are in red.
Yeah, bold red today. It's interesting. Just to try and really highlight it. Been end to end already at Dundee United against Kilmarnock. No clear chances yet, though. As we said, Ayr, the ones that are setting the pace early in the Championship. Partick Thistle already 1 up. We were reunited. I don't think the 3 of us, me, you and Mark Wilson, have been together in a while. We played golf on Wednesday.
Yeah, only reunited.
Changed.
Only reunited at the first hole, because he was in the trees for 18 of them. I've never seen somebody that their ball was a magnet to a tree. It was incredible. He always changed big time.
Yeah,
innit?
very intense football manager type now.
Yeah,
Isn't he?
you
always talking about the
mate,
game.
honestly, Gordon left. He had to go somewhere.
I just thought it was a bit much that he played the full 18 with stopwatch around his neck.
Yeah, I know. The tactics board dragging that. But we went into the clubhouse. I says, "We'll go in and get you a coffee." And
I
stuff
wasn't going to join in that.
Oh my gosh! I thought it was Jose Mourinho.
Was he not moving the salt shakers around?
I was about to say that.
doing
Tomato
everything.
sauce up and down.
Mate, honestly, you should hear the lingo he's coming up with now. He's disgusting.
I would just like to discount all of that, because I was up at Petershill to see him last weekend.
2 freebies, he told us. Don't start here and sing his praises because you get 2 freebies, Hugh.
But he seemed the old Mark Wilson to me.
Yeah, he's fine. We'll let him on. We're just saying that because we know he's not listening. Quiet opening, 7 minutes or so at St Mirren, but a free kick in a good crossing position for them. You wonder how much of a blow that'll turn out to be. Simon Murray travelling down, he's sick and not making it. Cammy, you know him well.
Yeah.
So's Lenny.
Yeah, no. Another one.
Dunfermline 0, Partick Thistle 2. Logan Chalmers is on. You lot are in charge of the scores, because the TV that I usually watch the scores on, I've got the golf, and I'm not sure I'm willing to change. Anyway, we've got a couple, so we can keep an eye on a few things. But yeah, Partick Thistle are flying. Did you give him a pep talk or something when you were up there at Peterson?
No, he doesn't need any help from me. He understood that last Sunday Celtic played really, really well, and there was an obvious gulf in class between a Championship side and the team at the top of the Premiership. But the what I'd be concerned about is Neil Lennon, because the Dunfermline results are just not going for him at all, and not going for East Kilbride either.
Scott Allen was in last night, told us East Kilbride were a stick on down at Annan.
Scott.
Your team, Cammy Bell and Annan, are 2-0 up within 12 minutes.
He's slouched in his seat in that dugout at the moment, isn't he?
He said they were a sure thing.
See, be fair, so did this man sitting to my right at 1:30 this afternoon. Said, East Kilbride are a stick on.
I was there watching Annan v Rangers B on Tuesday.
4-3, you said.
Magnificent they were.
Yeah.
That what you do on a Tuesday night, is it?
Oh, sorry.
Jeez. That's quite something, that really is. Right, anyway, keep your tweets coming on that first half teaser. Celtic in control, Gordon, which you would expect. The challenge generally in home games is never really about getting control, it's about turning it into something. We know that teams can make life tricky for you. But interesting to see Hibs, because I wonder if we're getting to that stage where the pre-season sort of promise and the early season promise and all the high hopes people had, David Gray may be looking for a bit better. They're
losing too many goals for me. They're conceding too many goals. They've got good threat up front, obviously. Boyle and Bowie are a good partnership, and they can get you goals, of course they can. They can get goals at set plays. Midley Park is decent as well, but at the back they just seem to concede. You go to Falkirk, and all credit to John McLean and Falkirk coming back, but if you're Hibs and you want to be taken serious this season, 2-0 up, you should be seeing that game out and winning that game. So it's a big ask for them this afternoon. Look, they're well organised, they have got good players, but I think Hugh pointed out the front three of Celtic, I think, could cause problems.
12 minutes gone. It should be up to full volume now at Celtic Park as well. It would be a very promising front three. They've got to prove the potential, Cammy. Tunetki looks a terrific player. He ought to love Celtic Park. Likewise, Iniacho. And Dyson Maida knows all about Celtic Park. They've got to prove it.
And as quick as that, 12 minutes is up and the drums have started. So there we go. Stage one of the silent protest comes and goes, and it's back to full noise and singing from those who were taking part at Celtic Park.
Well, the proper atmosphere now. 6 games that a win, Hibs. You always think, well, as you said to me last night, you keep tipping Rangers to win. It's got to happen sometime.
You tip them tomorrow, Hugh?
Yes.
Alright, you just got to keep going until they get there.
And so are you, because you told me that Livingston had no chance tomorrow.
No, I've been speaking to my good friend Big Marv.
I think you might as well now. I mean,
just keep going.
Surely they're going to win at some point.
Yeah.
No, I don't know about that.
I mean, they've got to. Tomorrow, you've got to fancy them tomorrow. I mean,
I do. I fancy them, because obviously Marv can't hear me, so they're hopeless.
I mean, that would signify crisis, Cammy.
Oh, no, for me, they're already in crisis. I think they're absolutely in crisis. It can get worse, of course it can, if they don't win tomorrow. But listen, it's always a difficult game when you go to Livingston. I know they've renewed the pitch and the AstroTurf's a little bit better, but it's a narrow pitch, it's not the biggest. But listen, Rangers know what they're going to face tomorrow, a physical side, a David Martindale side that'll be organised, they've got good experience, so it will be a difficult game, but it's one they need to go and win. They absolutely need to go and win that tomorrow.
Yeah, looking forward to that tomorrow, but we've got a lot on our plate already. The only thing we're missing, I've really liked the show so far, I'm enjoying your company, I just think we need a Premiership goal, a nice early one.
That's for sure.
To get us up and running. There's been plenty in the Championship already. Gordon DL still keeping an eye on the golf if anything significant happens. They're just sort of getting towards, although they've passed the halfway point, they're all at the kind of 10th, 11th, 13th, 14th of the morning foursomes. Bob McIntyre's not happy with that shot he's hit, but he's 2 up at the moment, along with Victor Hovland.
It's the one highlight my whole year, the Ryder Cup.
Is
every
it?
time
It's not every year though.
Every second year. right? But I honestly
love it.
I'm straight home tonight, and I will sit and watch it until it's finished.
You're not going to see Motherwell and Aberdeen?
I'm going to the second half at Fir Park.
If you want
to join me.
Well, I'll catch you in there.
Does anyone believe that?
No.
I'll be looking around for him all
don't
evening.
worry about it, I'll get you there.
Anthony Ralston blasts over the bar. I saw a few eyebrows raised on social media. I don't know if that's possible. Some electronic eyebrows raised at the starting of Anthony Ralston ahead of Colby Donovan. But if you listened to Brendan Rodgers yesterday, you maybe could have seen it coming. He spoke about Colby Donovan going pretty much from academy football straight into a first team environment, playing in Europe, starting multiple games in a week. I think he played twice for Scotland at youth team level in the international break, so I think he needs to manage him, as the phrase goes.
The question now, Gordon, is he managing him with Braga in mind on Thursday night, or will Anthony Ralston play in that game? I looked at Donovan at Firhill, and I thought, you can see the makings of a real player there.
I know about Brendan, listening football's all different now, but I'm not really a big lover of that. It's not like the boys played 25 games in a row.
Is it not just the complete difference in intensity that when you go to
listen,
like Europa League football away from home?
I'm putting my hand up and saying I understand where you're coming from, but Europa League football away from home, the boy was exceptional. He was absolutely brilliant for me. I thought he looked the part. I think he's grown in confidence. He can't get in and manage another game. I think it's because he was looking to maybe get minutes in Ralston. Now remember, Ralston's played over 100 games for Celtic or something like that. He's a Scottish international, so it's not like it's a risk really.
No.
But I just think the boy Donovan, I would, me personally, I'd have kept him in.
Yeah, but we don't see what's happening behind the scenes. Again, it's probably the mental side of things. How tiring is that on him? It's a new environment that he's playing, the intensity that he's under, the pressure that he's under playing for such a big club and big games. So we don't see the effect that's taken on him. And it's maybe just Brendan Rodgers, as you said, managing him, managing his minutes, managing him so that there's not too much build up of pressure on him at one time. And Anthony Ralston, listen, there's absolutely no risk in putting him in because he's a very experienced player. One of the surprise disappointments of the early weeks of the season has been Ross County. I think you would have to say, you look at the players they're signing, the coaching staff they've got. They have taken the lead today though down at Morton. Ronan Hale with a penalty. I mean, people were talking about Ronan Hale being too good for the Championship. Even goalkeepers, I noticed they took Trevor Carson up there during the week, Declan Gallagher and Ross Docherty and Tony Docherty in the dugout with Callum Davidson and John Robertson, and they are absolutely toiling, however, leading today.
Yeah, you're right, it could be too good for the Championship. It could be in League One next year. But they've got to get their season up and running. You said it there, Gordon. The amount of experience, the wages they'll be paying, the money they're spending, they need better
confidence though, innit? Again, it could just be that one win that flips the season for them. Listen, Tony Docherty and his backroom staff haven't been in the door long. I think Trevor Carson's a really good signing, experienced goalkeeper. So yeah, listen, I think they need that win. They desperately need to try and get that win today, because it would be a big win, because Morton's always a difficult venue to head to.
Come on, the Premiership, you're letting the country down here, because down the leagues it's all happening. Inverness won East 5-0. David Witherspoon, experienced campaigner, still banging in goals.
They've been flying in League One.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Tough time for the club recently, of course, but doing good things on the pitch currently. So David Witherspoon with the goal there, but still not anything at all to shout about in the Premiership. Stuart Finlay has let fly from 25 yards. Don't know if we see that too often. A good diving save though by Scott Bain at Tynecastle. Other than that, Hugh, quiet.
One of the complaints the Celtic fans have about their team is a slow starters. You know, that they took a pounding in Belgrade midweek, first half, only came to life in the second half. Kilmarnock was pretty much the same as well. They're kind of laborious. You're looking for inspiration in the form of Tunekti, Iniacho, Dyson Maeda getting a goal that might transform his mood. Hearts, I'm surprised, at home, going the way they are. Not a goal yet. Surprised by Dundee United as well, in the kind of form that they're in after that midweek victory over Aberdeen at Tannadice, comprehensive victory. So I'm surprised at the way things are going.
Not had much in the way of a Hibs attack. We just had the first one actually. Bowie did well, lifting across, it was cleared away for a corner.
Yeah, listen, I said earlier when I was talking about the Hibs defence, the one thing that they've got in their favour is they have got an attacking force of Bowie and Boyle who can get you goals and cause you problems. So Celtic just need to be careful. They've replaced the two full-backs. I thought Scales and Carter Vickers on Wednesday night were excellent. I thought Scales was absolutely brilliant, I've got to say. Tierney seemed to look like he was getting there. Obviously played the 80 minutes. He's not featuring today. Once again, Brendan Rodgers will say, managing them. That's what the modern day buzzwords are now. But the Caps can be a threat, so Celtic need to be careful.
At the same time, Cammy, you look at the depth that Hibs have got at the moment. I know they've not been defending brilliantly, perhaps hence the changes, but Rocky Bashiri, who was really a top performer for Hibs last season, he's dropped today, but replaced by Grant Hanley, who kept a clean sheet away for Scotland in Denmark a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, listen, the Hibs squad's really strong. Again, as you mentioned, I think what's been happening with Hibs, we've touched on it before, there's been soft goals conceding goals from set pieces. Again, another one midweek. There was one last weekend against Rangers when Raskin scored. So defensively need to tighten up, because as Daz said, I think going forward you've got Boyle, you've got Bowie, you've got players up at the top end of the pitch that can hurt any other team.
Great counter from Celtic from that corner I told you about. McCowan to Maeda, cuts it across to Iheanacho, who hit the bar and over a bit of a maybe not full sitter territory. Give him a slight benefit of the doubt, but he should have scored. Let's leave it at that.
Yeah, we're hearing that coming in from Celtic Park, surprisingly, because the other night his goal was brilliant. His first touch set him up great. I thought there was one that went through in the goalkeeper and he tried to chip him, and I know Cammy will give the goalkeeper all the credit in the world, rightly so. I think that he took one touch too many. I think a sharper striker would have just killed that and dinked over the goalkeeper, no problem. But he's certainly a threat. He's getting in the box. He'll get good service today, because Celtic have got the players on the pitch that can give him that service, and it's up to him to carry on scoring goals.
Danny Lennon cannot be enjoying this. Ayr 3, Airdrie 0. Mark McKenzie after 22 minutes.
Well, he wasn't wanted by the Airdrie fans, Danny Lennon.
A strange appointment, human.
Well, yeah, in many ways. So they'll be doubling down on their rejection of Danny Lennon, because that's a
I don't think he's not won a game since he went in yet, has he?
Don't think so.
In the league, I don't think he's won a game, and they're sitting down there in 3 points, and all of a sudden they're in real trouble here.
Remind us of you. Oh, hold on a second, actually.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Goal Hearts 1, Falkirk 0. It's one of the Jamestown team, Kizaridis. He's been an impressive performer since he came into the team, and he's opened the scoring. It's a brilliant goal as well. 25-yarder right into the top left-hand corner, and safe to say the home fans enjoyed that one.
Well, as things stand, Hearts go top of the league. So it's up to Celtic to do something about it in their game.
He's been good, Cammy Kizaridis. So much fascination about Hearts recruitment and where they come from and how they identify them and so on, but he looks already like he's been a proper find.
Yeah, listen, he looks like a top player. Again, I spoke to a few people who knew what he was going to bring to Hearts, and they were very confident he would hit the ground running, and he's certainly done that. Again, it's been a brilliant start for Hearts. You need to look at the start they've had this season, and if they can get the 3 points today, it'll be another excellent 3 points. And listen, it seems to have been a real transformation since Derek McInnes has come in the building.
The good thing about Hearts, and this is, I think, where they're better than Hibs. I know they play each other next week. I think they've got a better all-round squad. If you look at the Hearts bench, they've got guys there that can bring on, turn games for you. Suspensions, injuries, I don't think will cost them a lot this year because of the strength of squad. They've invested heavily in it. And they've invested in good quality as well. So I'm expecting a comfortable afternoon at Tynecastle for Hearts.
I know it's becoming a bit kind of well worn, but it's still interesting when we think about Jamestown, and I'm not saying Hearts are the only team to do it. It's a big wide world. Teams have been recruiting from all across the place for a long time, so I do get that. But in the case of Kizaridis, who looks top, and he scored, he was signed from a team that finished, I think, bottom half of the Slovakian league last season. I did a thing with Derek McInnes on Sky recently, where it was him, someone from USG, someone from Brighton, sort of explaining how it works, and Derek McInnes says in simple terms, it's just about getting these players before other people do. He says these players are going to get their move. The stats, the metrics show these guys are good and they're going to get their move, but you try and discover them first, but before they do.
You get them at the cheap stage before they become valuable commodities, and it's working. People are sceptical of Jamestown analytics in general, a game based on data now.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Dundee United 0, Kilmarnock 1. Gordon Duncan, your prediction might be coming in. We said it was all about Stuart Kettlewell trying to improve their away form. Well, a good start. Bruce Anderson with the low finish. It's actually a really good move. Polworth to Watson, then to Anderson, and then eventually to the bottom corner. So Kilmarnock taking the lead at Tannadice.
Show him the way to Amarillo and show him the way to a good prediction.
I looked round and you two were shaking your head at me in disgust, and I'll guarantee you all those out at the games would have been the exact
It's a bit
same.
early to get too confident on
3 points coming down Ayrshire, down the M9, right onto the 77, no traffic works whatsoever, clear road, 3 points in the bag.
Right, okay. Did we actually revisit the teaser at any point?
No.
I don't think we did because of the goals that went in. On you go.
So what we have here is over the past 10 years, 10 players have played for Hearts and Falkirk. Give me any 5.
Okay, I can see a few people giving this quite a good go.
Was it 10 years, did you say?
Over the past 10 years.
Because Wishart would have been one, wouldn't he?
Not in 2015.
No, but he would have been one if it wasn't 10 years.
I actually think there might be more than 10. However, we don't need to worry about that because you're only looking for 5 anyway, so it's like any 5. But I can see some really good answers coming in from Richie Robertson and Laurie Miller, Callum Heaps. Lots of good suggestions, so do please keep them coming. I don't think too many of you are actually struggling to get the 4 or 5, so we'll see how we go at Clyde SSB. Even if you want to just take part and throw some names in, you can do that to us as well at Clyde SSB.
So, as I say, Hearts are top of the league, and it's up to the rest to respond. Now, Dundee United started the day now 3rd place, but their place is under threat now, so challenges all round.
I know you had to go to your darts event last night, but surely if not, you would have been glued to Auchinleck v Cumnock live on TV in the first round of the Scottish Cup.
See, in the junior leagues, that was one I would have loved to have went to. Was it tasty? I know somebody gets sent off in the last minute, is that correct?
Yeah, last minute penalty.
Was it?
He came on as a sub. He gave away the penalty. After giving away the penalty that cost the game, the red mist descended and there was a horrendous challenge and he was sent off.
Oh, it'd be really feisty down there. Auchinleck and Cumnock.
Auchinleck through to the second round of the Scottish Cup.
Cumnock took the lead as well, didn't they?
Is Tucker Sloan still the manager of Auchinleck?
Yeah.
Is he? He's been there for about 25. He's won everything as well. What a job he's done there. And he's never got the sort of a recognition for it. But he's been absolutely brilliant.
Danny Lennon's Airdrie pulled it going back.
Yeah, they have indeed. Ian Atchow's blazed another one over, so Celtic are creating chances. They just haven't taken them yet. I was just looking at some of the other journeys. That's what I love about the first round of the Scottish Cup.
Are you doing the draw?
The draw's tomorrow for the second round.
What's your highlight pick? Your stat. I love your stats.
Well, you'll have to ask me about midnight tonight when I eventually get round to it, because I don't know who's through yet.
Well, you know Auchinleck's through.
One of however many balls.
Have you got any tasty trips today?
There's a few big journeys in there. That's what I'm always fascinated by. I think the furthest might be Nairn going down to Berwick.
All right,
that strikes me as being pretty far.
I would just phone them and say, listen, you take the tie. I'm not travelling down there. Not on a Saturday when the Ryder Cup's on, mate.
Yeah, there'll be a few the Bankies, Hugh, they're not too far. They're away at Jeanfield Swifts, which is Perth. So that's
still moving well, the Paper Hankies.
Are they top of the league?
Yep, top of the league.
Are they?
Yep.
Going well.
Transfer a wee cup run as well. So yeah, first round of the cup today. Threave Rovers coming down to Johnstonborough.
Castle Douglas, Threave Rovers are down in my neck of wood.
Up the way, so it's
up the way.
Up the way to Johnstonborough.
Do you go to their games as well?
No, I covered one of their games. They played Stranraer last year, actually.
You
it was on the
TV.
It was on the TV.
What TV? Border.
The
No, BBC won that shot tap.
I'd always like to pick an early round. I was saying they picked last night, first round.
Come on,
But
Daz.
Auchinleck and Cumnock's completely different. End to end battleships.
I was just thinking of this Celtic team, and it shows you how quickly these things rack up because Celtic play so many games. It's Luke McCowan's 50th Celtic appearance today.
Is it?
Yeah.
He was only signed last year, and you don't have him down as playing like all the time. 50?
Yeah.
Wow.
Luke McCowan.
Oh, it's brilliant.
Quick,
isn't it?
very quick.
To be fair, I think a lot of Celtic fans
Well,
would
he's
be
done well,
hoping
though.
they get more.
Yeah, no doubt about it, but it's just
I'm back in the game, Gordon. EK have pulled one back.
Cammy Elliott, goal machine.
Yeah, he scored bright.
Srirachi, not quite sure if it was a cross or a shot, but it clips the bar anyway on the way over.
And now, is he playing today because they're saving Kieran Tierney for Braga? It seems to be that way.
You'd have thought so.
Brendan Rodgers has picked a team on a Saturday with a game on Thursday in mind.
He looked a bit better Tierney the other night there. I think he's getting that fitness, that sharpness. I thought the back four of Celtic played very well, I've got to say. The two centre backs, especially Scales for me, comes in for a lot of criticism, Scales, but I thought Scales was really, really good.
That was his first 90 minutes in years, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The game before was
Partick
it the
Thistle.
Partick Thistle game?
Yeah,
First,
and then
a couple of years, first 90 minutes. All in, it's in fashion. Stat that for Scotland fullbacks. I noticed that Aaron Hickey started for Brentford today. It was his first league start in 2 years.
Wow. Well,
yep.
I just
and they beat
posed,
Man United incidentally.
yeah, I just posed the question to the Dazzler and Cammy: could Ruben Amorim relegate Manchester United?
I thought you were going to say, could he be the next Rangers manager?
Oh,
That's what
no,
usually
no.
happens. They get sacked for one job and jump into another one. I'll tell you what, I don't know how they're talking about managers under pressure. How is he getting away with that?
It's incredible. It's all
How
about-
is he getting away with
It's
that?
just all about sticking to your principles, isn't it?
But the principles
He's
are
the
one.
one. No, that's what I'm saying. I was joking. I wasn't in favour of the sentiment.
He's having
They're
a
a
shocker.
club that are in a real mess. Like, such a mess.
Manchester United.
Awful.
Don't fall into that trap. That's what people have been saying for the last 10 years
I
now. With that
know.
exasperated tone. This is Manchester United.
They've tried every manager under the sun. I think they should just do it without a manager. Let a team, let
yourself.
boys, first 11 pick themselves.
What about the caller to Super Scoreboard during the week who wanted James Tavernier to be the new Rangers manager?
That was my
right,
favourite
okay.
call of the week. That. Were you
Yeah,
on that evening?
No, I would have just hung
So,
up.
wanted. No, listen, we would never do that.
Yeah, I
So,
would.
wanted James Tavernier on, and then we tried to sort of. We kind of talked him down, I think, and maybe made him realise that
Yeah.
maybe it wasn't a great idea.
Sure.
To step in as
Yes,
manager.
yes,
Okay.
absolutely. And then, so he met us in the middle and said he wanted James
Sure.
Tavernier to be made assistant to Russell Martin.
That's good.
Right.
It was bold. It was a bold
Okay.
strategy.
That's good.
Quite like that one. St Mirren are getting closer. Roland Idowu has fired just wide. Still nothing doing though. No breakthrough there. No breakthrough at Celtic Park. In fact, the only goals we've got: Dundee United trailing Kilmarnock at home, and Hearts 1-up on Falkirk.
Well, all eyes on Hearts, because the way things are at Celtic and Rangers, I mean, if Rangers won the league, you just have to chuck it. You would have to disband the Premiership. If a team with their problems and a 12-point deficit, as it may be by 5 o'clock tonight, if they won the league, the rest would have to just admit that they were hopeless. But my question now is, could Hearts win the league this season?
Well, listen, Hearts are, I mentioned before, incredible run start to the season under Derek McInnes. They've got a big game next weekend. If they get through this, navigate their way through to get 3 points today, then they've got the Edinburgh Derby next Saturday night. So I think
We surely need to give it longer than we look at Aberdeen last season. It was like
Yeah.
Halloween.
No, I'm not saying they're going to win the league,
Yeah.
but again, if they can get through to that international break on such a great run, they're in a really good
Do you think
position.
they could win the league?
No,
I'm the same.
not this season.
I'm the same. I
Why
think
not?
because I don't think they're better than Celtic throughout a season. So I don't think they'll win the league. I don't think they'll win the league
I
at
think
all.
they've had a brilliant start, but I agree, as I think the season's so long,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of different things that can happen, injuries to key players, and I just don't know if they've got the strength and
I just
depth
keep
to.
saying though, it's not like we don't have very recent evidence of what it can take. Aberdeen got to the end of October. We're at the end of September here.
Totally.
Aberdeen, look, we're having all these discussions a month down the line, and now we're talking about them sacking their manager because the league form.
I just think the
off so badly.
transformation from Hearts from last season to this season has been incredible, and it's been a brilliant start for them, so you've got to applaud them. I think next week's a big game for Derek McInnes if he can get through this week, just so that again going into that international break that he's had such a good run, he can then.
He also, Cammy, he doesn't have the complication of Europe.
No.
Europe could be an embarrassment for Celtic and Rangers, because I think Celtic got away with one in Serbia. Iniacho scored a terrific goal, but
I think it was quite an even game.
I thought that.
Did you think Celtic got away with one?
Seriously?
I thought they could have lost there easily.
But they similarly could have won. No, I thought it was like a very.
They created a few chances.
Quintessential even game.
Rangers have lost their first match in the Europa League at home. Now it's at Sturm Graz and away. And while they have all manner of domestic problems afflicting them, so they have, Celtic and Rangers have Europe to survive. Hearts don't have that.
Yeah, I think where Hearts this season completely different. Apart from one, their recruitment's been very good. Unfortunately, they've let themselves down. Our Luke's going to join them on Monday. That'll be a disaster for him. We wish him all the very best. Young man brought the cookies in. I love that.
Good lad.
It was. But no, they've recruited very well.
He's not a player, by the way, in case
no.
thinks it's a new signing.
What is he going to do? Make Derek's tea or something?
I just hope that people were meant to know this, and you've just sort of.
I don't know. Oust him?
I don't know. Who knows? Might be his private news that he didn't want to share. Anyway, 18,000 the crowd in at Tynecastle. Fraser Wishart telling us, and you can imagine they will be enjoying it so far. It is battering it down with rain at Celtic Park. Not battering down on the goal front yet, though, unfortunately. For the neutral observer, even as well, no team has managed to find a breakthrough, and Hibs doesn't sound like they're managing to cause Celtic too many problems, Cammy.
No. Yeah, listen, it's been dominant performance from Celtic so far. They look as if they've certainly had the possession and the greater opportunities in this first half, but it's that breakthrough, it's that little bit of quality that they need to try and find the back in it. And Hibs will probably be fairly happy that, again, we spoke about their defensive frailties this season, set pieces, again, players that potentially have come in and try to shore up that defence. So yeah, Celtic will just be looking for that first goal to try and kick on.
Reminder of the teaser, Hugh, to urge the last stragglers to jump on.
Yeah, over the past 10 years a total of 10 players have played for Hearts and Falkirk. Give me any 5.
Go on then, at Clyde SSB. There's been a change already for Hibs. It must be forced. Jimmy McGrath's gone off, Josh Campbell's come on. So again, it does kind of show you the depth there. I mean, Josh Campbell perfectly capable of starting matches for Hibs, but that would be a blow for David Gray.
Yeah, it will be. Again, as you say, Josh Campbell, an experienced player now that's played plenty of games for Hibs, and a good player to come on, so it just shows you that little bit of depth they've got in their squad. But not ideal when a player has to get substituted in the first half. But as I said, I think they'll be fairly comfortable with what they've done in the first half at Celtic Park.
A bit of a blow in terms of the craft that Jamie McGrath can bring, and you saw he actually took his goal so well the other night. But different, there's a real physicality and power about Campbell and an aerial threat.
Absolutely, he gets about the pitch really well. I think he brings an energy. We certainly when I watch Josh Campbell, I think he's got a lot of energy about him. He gets about the pitch well, he's aggressive as well. So as you say, that physicality coming on the pitch, but which Hibs will probably need throughout this game is that aggression and snapping to a tackle that they'll need to make. So as I say, it's not ideal, but again, the personnel that's coming on, I think, is more than capable of doing the job.
Yeah, I got to agree with that. McGrath gives him a little bit of quality, especially any set plays round about the box as well. He's got a good delivery, he can score goals. But Campbell is, and he might just be the guy that's needed, because we're hearing that Celtic are dominating most of it.
Yeah, Callum McGregor's just let fly as well, stinging the palms of the goalkeeper.
Air 4.
Air 4, Airdrie 1. You're getting good bang for your buck if you paid into that one today.
I seen St Johnstone took the lead away to Queen's Park as well, so that's a big goal for them.
That is indeed.
They're flying, St Johnstone, aren't they?
Yeah,
absolutely flying.
Yeah,
they've got to win that.
They look a stick on already.
Yeah, you would cash out right away with them.
Bruce Anderson has scored one. He's now had another low shot save from 20 yards, so that one perhaps not going the way most would have predicted it, apart from Gordon DL, Kilmarnock winning at Tannadice. Hearts 1 up at home to Falkirk. Nothing between Celtic and Hibs yet, or indeed St Mirren Dundee.
Andrew was sitting there in the Paisley rain, wondering where it all went wrong.
Oh,
that stand doesn't give you much protection. That main stand at St Mirren, no, he doesn't bother.
The only stand I've sat there and had a lovely cheese board. It was brilliant.
Oh, cheese board.
He took his own.
I took my own cheese
one.
board.
You never.
Chutney, everything. Yeah, did crackers, everything.
Grapes? Any grapes?
Yeah.
How did you manage that?
A bit of honey?
Just on your knees?
Yeah, I took it in a bag. Yeah.
Wow.
Bit of honey on the cheese?
No, I didn't have honey.
Oh, that's the next step.
Is that the next step? Okay.
Celtic are turning the screw a bit. Maeda's shot blocked. Iheanacho then with the effort saved. So it looks like if any team is going to find the breakthrough, it will be Celtic, but not yet.
The problem is when Gordon come over at me at half time, they're sitting with my red wine with it.
I was almost about to say that. That's the only thing that's missing.
I had an embarrassing moment at Firhill, Dadler.
Oh, what was it? Somebody recognise you?
No. I thought, how do you get in? Because
where was your tickets? Main stand?
In the Colin Weir stand, yeah. But so I eventually find a turnstile, and the woman looks at me, and I look at her, and she looks at me. I look at her.
It's been a while since you had a ticket to a football match.
Can you give me a ticket so I can scan it?
They scan them now. Yes, 2025. Yeah.
I thought you just showed her the ticket and you were in,
and she let you in the
right. Hold on, we've got a double dose of these. Let's just press the button once.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
First of all, it was St Mirren who took the lead at home to Dundee. Killian Phillips, just a few yards out, diverts a shot that was already on its way into the net, and at the same time Hearts have scored a second. It's Lawrence Shanklin, 25 yards out into the bottom right corner. The Jambos are cruising.
Yeah, that's a 3 or 4, and again, as things stand, Hearts are at the top of the league, and Celtic still goalless against Hibs. Have it all to do in the second half if they want to get back on top.
I think Celtic are dominating most of the plays we hear coming in from Celtic Park. So sometimes you've got to be patient, because Hibs are a good side. We've recognised they've got good players. They've got a counter-attack threat as well. So Celtic have to be careful. Sometimes a little bit of patience at home is needed, and that's what's probably going to be needed this afternoon.
Lawrence Shanklin starting to get back in amongst the goals. Cammy, obviously, so much said about the drop-off last time from the season before to last season. That's him up to 7 for the season, albeit a couple of them came in the Cup.
Yeah, again, we all know he was unsettled towards the end of last season with everything that was going on contract-wise, and he started the season brilliantly. He's a top quality player. I think Derek McInnes will bring the best out of him as well. He's a good manager who understands how to get the best out of his top players. So I think Lon Shanklin will be back to his best this season. It already looks like he's trying to get there, but it looks as if it's going to be an easy victory for Hearts this afternoon, but all because of the way they've approached the game, because that could be a sticky tie if they don't get the goals and they don't approach that first half properly, but they've certainly done that.
We're always on the lookout for Scots doing things south of the border. George Hurst has scored for Ipswich. We're not too far away from the next international break, so good to see them all in good form if possible. Maybe Lawrence Shanklin even comes back into that conversation, having dropped out of it. I even noticed we time travelled a bit, calls for Ollie Burke during the week, the first Scotsman to score a hat-trick in the Bundesliga.
I think if you're scoring 3 goals in the Bundesliga in one game, then you're entitled to be looked at.
I got my leagues mixed up. I was one of the questions and beat the pundit.
Right.
Bundesliga, and I said Lewis Ferguson.
Yeah, on one hand, I don't think you just jump into things because of the novelty factor, Cammy, but then, as Hugh says, it's in an area where we're not blessed. Can you be turning down guys who are capable of scoring hat-tricks in the Bundesliga?
No. Again, it's an interesting one, because obviously he's been over there for a while now.
How old is Ollie Burke?
Yeah, be late 20s now, Ollie Burke. Yeah,
he bags his pace as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, he was very fast.
And that would be the other thing, because Ben Doak aside, that's what the team really lacks, isn't it?
Yeah, and he's had some big
28.
Money. 28. Well,
how long's he been over in Germany now? A good few years, hasn't he?
Oh yeah, he's had a few clubs. He's now at Union Berlin. He's at Werder Bremen. He's at RB Leipzig.
So again, he's played at a really top standard for a period of time. So surely Steve Clarke has to be considering him.
St Johnstone have been pegged back. It's Queen's Park 1, St Johnstone 1. Josh Fowler just before the break. What will Neil Lennon's mood be like? Are they 2-0 down still against Partick Thistle? And
10 men now.
Yeah, they've just gone down to 10 men, so I'm not sure he'll be
at home. Bit of money being pumped into Dunfermline. Always get good crowds, but the results are not coming.
I know it's inspired Mark Wilson. It shows you the level, the thought process that goes into these things. He went to Dunfermline to scout them, didn't he?
Yes.
Essentially to watch the game ahead of the meeting today, and all he could tell us about was how good the spread was. He said you're well looked after at East End Park.
You do that with clubs, don't you?
Yeah.
You judge them not in their football ability but their spreads at half time.
Peterhead's one. Peterhead springs to mind straight away for food
on the way home. Best ever, worth the trip.
Yep.
Worth the trip.
Yep.
3 minutes to be added at Celtic Park. Celtic have had chances, they've been dominant but no breakthrough. 1 to be added at Tannadice and 3 at Tynecastle as well. I think John McGlynn in particular will be keen to get the troops in and regroup, of course, over a decade since he was the Hearts manager. A big chance for Hibs actually. First one we've seen, it was a free kick, Warren O'Hara up, he miscues from 5 yards.
I was about to say I don't think you can regroup against Hearts when you're 2 down, but Hearts have shown themselves they were 3 down to Motherwell and regrouped enough to get a draw, but the game's over.
Falkirk did it during the week, albeit at home. At half time for David Friel at Tannadice.
Half time, Gordon Duncan 0, Kilmarnock 1. A pretty even game overall, but a brilliant Bruce Anderson strike has put Kelly in front. Most of us, not all of us, expected United to be too strong, but they haven't been at their best. Jim Goodwin doesn't look a happy man. He's been animated on the touchline and will clearly be looking for a response in the second half. Intense stuff for the first 25 minutes without many real chances. Ivan Dolcek, he's always a threat for United. He had a low shot saved. Marcus Stackers, he's linked well with Anderson up front. He also had an effort blocked from the edge of the box. As I said, United have been in good form, but you can sense Goodwin just wasn't too happy with too many slack passes. Kelly were always busy without being a huge threat, but that changed in 26 minutes. Liam Polar's superb pass picked out David Watson. He shifted the ball to Bruce Anderson. Still had a lot of work to do, but he found some space at the edge of the box, and his finish was brilliant, low into the bottom corner. Anderson tried his luck again before the break. Kelly threatened, but United have also had a couple of chances. Beachco Chevet, he headed wide as he chased an equaliser. Zach Satsford, he ran through, hit the post, he was offside. I'm sure there will be more pressure when they shoot down the slope in the second half, but Kelly are ahead and the noisy away support are starting to dream of a rare win on the road. Half time to United 0, Kilmarnock 1.
Well, Gordon Dale, your prediction is on the right track. I'll not ask you for your thoughts because you've got a chocolate chip cookie in your mouth at the moment, which I've just noticed, so I'll just hold the fort just now. 1 minute to be added in Paisley as well, so we'll probably get those 3 round about the same time. Celtic Park, Tynecastle and Paisley. Is there going to be a final action in front of goal at Celtic Park? We mentioned a few chances for Celtic but not coming to anything, and there we go, here is Gabriel.
Half time and it's Celtic 0, Hibs 0. Celtic totally dominating, had a few decent chances, but they're yet to make the all-important breakthrough. Kelechi Iheanacho should have scored on his first league start after a great counter-attack. Luke McCowan released Dyson Maeda over the top, who cut across from the right-hand side, but the Nigerian clipped the bar. And Marcello Saraki also struck the top of the woodwork with a cross-come shot, a lovely half volley from an angle. Callum McGregor's had a thunderous effort from about 25 yards, which stung Rafael Sanja's hands in the Hibs goal. Maeda had a shot excellently blocked by Grant Hanley, who is marshalling that back 5 well for Hibs. And Iheanacho's had a couple of other efforts as well without really looking like he is going to score, but he's looked dangerous, as has Seb Tunekti, a menace down the left as well, but no end product just yet. Hibs have had 1 or 2 forays forward. Kieran Barry looks their best bet to wreak havoc, causing Celtic's backline a few problems, and Martin Boyle had 1 effort saved on the counter-attack. Warren O'Hara there with a big chance in stoppage time, just miscued his effort from about 5 yards out after a free kick, and there will be some chances for David Gray's men in the second 45, but they'll need to be better going forward if they do want to win the game. Although if their plan is to get a point, it's all going well so far. A big second half coming up for Brendan Rodgers' men, especially with Hearts winning comfortably. At the interval, it's Celtic 0, Hibs 0.
Also half time in Paisley, Andrew McLean.
St Mirren 1, Dundee 0, the half-time score in Paisley. It was a pretty slow start to things here before it started to pick up towards the end of that opening 45. St Mirren had been shading it in terms of possession and territory, and their hard work paid off 5 minutes before the break when Killian Phillips opened the scoring in front of the travelling Dundee support. In the early stages, the hosts were forced to resort to a couple of long-range efforts before it was actually Shamal George who had to make the first save of the game. Dre Wright with a low drive towards the near post, and it was turned round for a corner. Stephen Robinson's side then started to pick things up a bit. Alex Goggett shooting straight at John McCracken from the edge of the box. McCracken then had to make a good low save from Jonah Ayunga, who was great striker play from him in the build-up, chested it down, good turn on the edge of the box, but couldn't slide that one past the diving McCracken. A goal looked to be coming for the Buddies when Roland Odowu shaped up to shoot but curled one just wide of the mark. The goal eventually came through Killian Phillips with 5 minutes to go. The initial shot came from Mikael Mandron on the left side of the box. He fired low towards goal, and before it got to John McCracken, Killian Phillips stuck out a leg, diverted it past the Dundee goalkeeper and opened the scoring. His fifth of the season, but his first in the Premiership this campaign. The half-time score in Paisley is St Mirren 1, Dundee 0.
I don't think we're quite there yet at Tynecastle, so that will be the final one for us. Hearts cruising towards a comfortable lead at the break. St Mirren, we just heard there from Andrew McLean. Still no breakthrough though between Celtic and Hibs. Celtic very much with the better of the chances and the territory and all the stuff you would expect, but crucially no goals yet. There were 3 minutes added on at Tynecastle, but not heard from Fraser yet. Is it half time? I think it must be soon. Maybe he's just struggling to let us know. Maybe he's struggling to deliver the message, or as we know it is a minimum of 3 minutes, maybe it can go on a bit. There we go. Fraser has the half-time picture.
Yeah, I think it was. I was struggling to let you know, Gordon, because it finished half-time was Hearts 2, Falkirk 0. Hearts deservedly ahead at the break. Not been at their best, but they haven't needed 2 goals from Alexander Kizaridis and Lawrence Shankland have them ahead at the break. Falkirk started brightly but haven't offered anything in attack. They had a chance in the first minute. They actually started quite brightly. Calvin Miller made a yard inside the box. His low left foot shot was saved at his post by Alexander Shvolov. But after that it was all Hearts. 10 minutes gone. Their first chance. Milner a couple of feet wide. A really powerful header at the back post from Kingsley cross, but at that point it wasn't really the attacking start Hibs fans had expected. In 17 minutes Stuart Finlay decided to take it into his own hands. The big centre half strode forward 25 yards out, struck a low shot really well. Excellent save diving to his right by Scott Bain, and from the corner Braga headed straight at Bain, and I think at that point that's what really gave Hearts a lift, because in 23 minutes came the opener, and what a brilliant individual goal by Alexander Kizaridis on the left hand side. He cut past a couple of players. He was now in the middle of the park 25 yards out, and he bent a brilliant shot with dip and pace into the top left hand corner. Fantastic goal, and being the running for the goal of the season. Bain absolutely no chance. It was almost 2 a couple of minutes later. A loose ball fell in the box to Braga. He's space and time, but he shot wildly over the bar from about 16 yards. Falkirk dropped out of the game, hardly up the park, but Hearts still not firing all cylinders. Tempo dropped slightly, but 39 minutes Kizaridis almost got his and Hearts second. Shankland fed Milne on the right hand side on the overlap. His low cross went to the back post. The winger at full stretch got good contact on it, and it was a good block by Bain on the line. But at 41 it was 2-0 and a simple goal. Lawrence Shankland, for some reason given time and space 25 yards out to turn, he had time to set himself, and he drilled a 25 yard shot low into the bottom right hand corner with Bain with no chance. I wouldn't be surprised if John McGlynn makes a couple of changes. Big improvement needed for him to get a point, but I think Derek McInnes will be a very happy man. It's been routine and with no danger so far, and I think he'll want more of the same in the second half. Half time at Tynecastle, Hearts 2, Falkirk 0.
Full round up of the half time scores coming next.
With the biggest support in Glasgow and the West. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Half-time scores in the Scottish Premiership: Celtic 0, Hibs 0, Dundee United 0, Kilmarnock 1, Hearts 2, Falkirk 0, and St Mirren 1, Dundee 0. Motherwell Aberdeen is a 5:45 kick-off. In the Championship, Ayr 4, Airdrie 1, Dunfermline 0, Partick Thistle 2, Morton 0, Ross County 1, Queen's Park 1, St Johnstone 1, and Wraith Rovers 0, Arbroath 0. In League 1, Cove 0, Kelty 1, Hamilton Accies 1, Stenhousemuir 0, Inverness Cally Thistle 1, East Fife 1, Montrose 0, Queen of the South 0, Peterhead 2, Alloa Athletic 1. In League 2, Annan 2, East Kilbride 1, Dumbarton 0, Stranraer 1, Edinburgh City 0, Forfar 1, Elgin 1, Spartans 1, and Stirling Albion 0, Clyde 2. The English Premier League, if you're that way inclined, a full-time result: Brentford 3, Man United 1. At the break, Chelsea 1, Brighton 0, Palace 1, Liverpool 0, Leeds 1, Bournemouth 1, Man City 1, Burnley 1. We also need to take care of this, Hugh.
The first half teaser
with the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
A bit different this, Hugh. You've got loads of names, so you can just fly through them and I'll pick the winners.
OK. Lee Miller, Jamie McDonald, Michael McGovern, Stephen Kingsley, Morgaro Gomez, Prince Bobbin, Andy Irving, Lewis Moore, Lewis Nielsen and Callum Morrison are the 10 players to have played over the past 10 years for Hearts and Falkirk.
Yeah, I think we ended up with about 14, but you only had to pick 5, so that was the good news. That was all you had to do, and Kyle did it in the third fastest time. Well done to you, Kyle. Michael Smith second, and Mark was the winner. Well done to you, Mark. You take the gold medal, and we will be back with a Who Am I in the second half. We'll get the second half started next.
The winning team all season long. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Second half's about to get started, underway already. In fact, at Tannadice, no subs. David Watson's already had a low shot save. Back underway in Paisley, no changes there. Celtic players back out onto the field as well. So let's get these second halves up and running and hope for more goals in the next 45.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard Goal Flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy. Get set for the season with expert pharmacy support.
What are you expecting in these second 45? In fact, Falkirk have made changes. Arfield and Oliver on, Cartwright and Williams off. But I think clearly all attention would go towards Celtic Park to see if we get a breakthrough.
Well, yeah, because Hearts are top of the league. We are obsessed by Celtic Rangers Celtic, but Hearts are top of the league as things stand. Celtic have lacked firepower in the first half. They've missed great chances to score, and I honestly think that it's a big second half for Celtic, because Hearts, I don't believe, will blow the 2-0 lead that they have, and I think this Hearts side show every sign of being able to sustain a challenge to win the title. They are 12 points ahead of Rangers as things stand, and I think that Hearts at the moment look a better bet than Celtic
to win the league.
Yeah.
What?
After 5.5 games?
You got to go early.
Early.
My goodness, that is early for you, Shug. I thought you'd have probably gave it to 7.
I said at the moment, if Celtic have a good transfer window, but transfer windows and Celtic are a real problem. But they lack firepower today. And
so if Celtic comfortably win this second half 3-0, are you still got to stick with that prediction?
Well, we'd have to wait and see if they do that.
Well, they've certainly had opportunities in that first half. They just didn't take them. I think they've been well in control of the game. So, I expect them to go and win this game and win the second half. And Hibs are no mugs. They'll be sitting in. They'll be trying to break on the counter attack. But listen, that's a big shout, Hugh. Massive.
That's why he's been with us so long. Yeah, we're waiting for one of these shouts to come in.
I just think,
the bookmakers I'm checking at the moment seem to have Celtic 1-8 on to win the title.
Shug's got Hearts 1-9.
Okay, listen, Campbell, responsibly. You go and stick
again,
a couple of quid of that pension on Hearts, you'll be laughing.
Again, they've got a 12-point start on Rangers, and no one else other than Celtic, Hearts or Rangers are going to win the league. So they've got a 12-point start on Rangers. That's them out the way. Now you focus on Celtic.
No, it's not going to happen.
We'll wait and see. Our Wraith Rovers won or both nil. Paul Hanlon scored just after the break. Let's do your second half teaser, Hugh, whilst we can, and once we get it printed off and given to you, that would be a start. So we'll get that sent over very soon. Any other goals going in the early stages of the second half? I don't think so. What else have we got here? Any other updates? Kelly free kick. Dom Thompson, though, he whips it wide. Robbie Dees and Kamara both gone into the book for a disagreement, shall we say, off the ball. So Killie, you looking to try and grab a second, maybe make it more comfortable? Or do you fall into that trap of protecting things?
If Killie could grab a second, it's certainly a long way back for Dundee United and Jim Goodwin.
You'd expect a reaction from Dundee United, being at home, being at Tannadice. Jim Goodwin, I'm pretty sure he would have had a few words, because listen, they've had a fairly decent start to the season as well, so he'll be disappointed that they're one down, but there's a second half ahead of them that they can get back on track.
I can't disagree with that, Cammy. I don't know what it was. I had a little sneaky for Kilmarnock.
Did you?
Yeah. Okay. I don't know if it was because I was in Kilmarnock last week.
Is it not true you went into a watering hole in Kilmarnock last week and got heckled for being air?
Yeah.
Oh, did you?
Air something.
It was ridiculous what they were saying to me.
Okay.
I found it very offensive. But I didn't leave. I stayed. I'm stuck to my guns. I soon turned them round with a bit of my patter.
They certainly didn't buy you a drink, did they?
Certainly didn't, no.
Okay.
Did they just politely tell you that you weren't welcome?
Yeah. One or two, yeah.
Okay. That usually happens everywhere you go, to be honest. I don't think it's necessarily an air
Hamsty main Motherwell.
But anyway, right, we're waiting on the first
so
goals
it's
going in.
Okay for you to have a sneaky about Kilmarnock, but it's not okay for me to have a sneaky about Hearts.
I think there's a difference in like one given.
A one-off game, not a full season.
Lawrence Shankland has almost scored again. Brilliant save by Bain. He's actually made a lot of good saves since moving to Falkirk. However, couldn't keep this one out.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
By 5 o'clock, he'll be calling them the champions elect. Just you wait and see. Hearts have scored a third. Kizaridis this time with the corner, and Craig Halkett with the header. A very comfortable afternoon for the Jambos. Top left corner. Might as well stick the ribbons on.
Oh yeah. I'm just wondering where the Princess Street for the celebration.
On top bus.
Yeah.
Big chance for Arnie Engels. It's cut back from about 10 yards. He has a shot deflected for a corner, and then when it comes in, Iheanacho heads over the bar. So Celtic chapping, but the door remains closed for now. But Hearts, that's impressive, because Falkirk actually, I know people maybe expect Falkirk to be at the wrong end of the table, but if you look at all the games they've played so far, they've never really been out their depth. And they drew against Dundee United, they've drawn against Hibs, they obviously had the victory up at Pittodrie. They've been completely in every game.
And again, they would have taken confidence from the comeback midweek when they were 2 down against Hibs, and they managed to get a draw. They got that game, so they knew it would have been difficult going to Tynecastle today. Hearts are a very, very good team. They've started the season really, really well, but as you say, they're no mugs, Falkirk. They've not been out with their depth so far. But for me, what I said before is the way Hearts have approached this game, because if they had approached this game thinking they're going to win, it's going to be an easy afternoon, then that's when it can bite you in the bum. But I think Derek McInnes has made sure that they've approached it in the right manner, and they're certainly having an easy afternoon of it.
You impressed with that start by Hearts, Gordon?
I expected after the first goal went in there would be no way back for Falkirk. I've said from day one, I love the way Falkirk play football. They deserve to be in the Premier League. They're a breath of fresh air for me, but I think it's got to be a long season for them. I don't think they've got the squad to handle that amount of games and important games.
John McGlynn would have hoped for better than this, Hugh, on his return to Tynecastle, because his story's a fascinating one. He's a very different manager to the one that he was. He was out the game. We all know the story. He kind of shadowed Brendan Rodgers, if you like, and completely transformed himself into the type of manager he is now.
Back-to-back promotions, wonderful achievement on his part, but this is the big boys' playground now, and he's playing form side. The only little black mark against Derek McInnes has been that Premier Sports Cup defeat at Paisley. Otherwise, he's cruising in the job, they're cruising in the league, and it's a matter of time before they're the title holders.
Yeah, get the trophy.
Kilmarnock are pushing for a second and playing great stuff at Tannadice as well, which, not to be too unfair, but it's just maybe not something you would associate with this Kilmarnock team.
No, I think they do play. I've seen them a couple of times this season, and I think they've certainly got the players on the pitch to go and play good stuff. They can also go direct, they can go forward pretty quickly, but I certainly think Stuart Kettlewell wants to play football when he can. He's got the players on the pitch that, like the wee boy Watson in midfield's a good player, so yeah, they can certainly mix it up.
And right enough, right on cue.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
They've got their second. Dundee United 0, Kilmarnock 2 could be the shout of the day from Gordon Duncan. Robbie Dees, a header from a short corner, eventually delivered, and it is a deserved second.
I take my hat off to you.
Excellent, Dan.
What a result we've got in the making there. Dundee United 0, Killie 2. Hugh Keevins, let's do it.
The second half teaser.
With the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
I have played with Lyndon Dykes and Brian Graham. I have been managed by Billy Davies and Martin O'Neill. I had more than one spell at 2 of my clubs. Who am I? Played with Lyndon Dykes and Brian Graham, been managed by Billy Davies and Martin O'Neill, and had more than one spell at 2 of my clubs.
Oh, I like that. That's a good question. At Clyde SSB. It's a race. Come on, throw some names in. Let's see who wins. And even if you don't think you're going to be quick enough, throw a name in anyway, and you might still get it right. I like that one a lot. At Clyde SSB. There is a bit of debate. Dundee United feel that goal wasn't over the line. It was given. It can still be checked, but we don't have goal line technology. I think we know that. So, as we have seen, enter Nicholas Raskin at Easter Road, etc.
Yep.
The evidence would need to be extremely conclusive for that to be changed, and in fact it has been given. So Kilmarnock are 2-0 up at Dundee United.
Well, we don't want any VAR controversies because, according to a university study carried out by Napier University in Edinburgh, VAR, players are telling them VAR is bad for your health.
Well, here's the thing, that would be a goal line technology thing, and it's very simple. You want it, go and pay for it. So if clubs really want goal line technology, find the money. That's what that would come down to.
I just I only read it this morning, and I was under no knowledge of VAR being the subject of a university survey, but that's what they're saying at the Napier University in Edinburgh, that their interviews with players, VAR is causing anxiety.
I'd like to know more about this study, I must admit. Surveys had a shot saved as Dundee United look to respond, but it is still 2-0 to Kilmarnock, and the only game we've not got the goal yet is indeed Celtic Park.
And you won't get one there.
No, you going early in that as well?
Yeah.
I've seen this before. That just makes me almost certain that there will be.
Yeah.
Game of the day by some distance has to be at Somerset. Ayr 4, Airdrie 2 now. Charlie Telfer with the goal on 59 minutes.
Been around several blocks, Charlie Telfer.
Yes. Shared a couple of changing rooms with Charlie.
That's because if you've been everywhere and he's been everywhere.
Rangers, when he was a young lad, he was in and around the first team, so
bound to overlap.
Of course.
Yeah. You have had a few clubs, Cammy, I've got to say that.
Yeah.
No more goals to tell you about
Shows me
yet.
one thing, you weren't consistent. You went in and done a job for the first few months, and then you were ouch.
The problem with the teaser today is I think I told you the answer in the office, didn't I?
Yeah.
So you're done.
Yeah, but I've got to say it's a difficult one. Very difficult indeed.
Yeah, the clues are pretty good, so we'll see what you can come up with at Clyde SSB. Still no more goals to tell you about currently. Of course, we'll build up to kick off at Fir Park as well. It's a 5:45. So if we get any interesting team news and things like that, we'll dip in there, because that's a huge afternoon for Aberdeen in particular.
Oh yeah,
Motherwell still haven't won a game.
No,
but they've also not lost one. They're through in the cup. They're playing kind of nice football, but Aberdeen, my goodness.
I just find that the most astonishing stat of the day, in the year 2025, and we're about to move into the 10th month of that year, Aberdeen have won 4 games. That is beyond belief, and no wonder Jimmy Tillene's under pressure. How could he not be under pressure with a record like that?
Yeah, it's not good enough. We all know what we've spoke about. There's been enough chat about Jimmy Tillene's position and where Aberdeen are at the moment, because the big thing is, for me, the club have backed them. They've recruited really well during the summer, but it's just, again, they can't seem to gel. They've not hit the ground running. The players that have came in, obviously goal scoring's a huge issue for them at the moment, but listen, I think it'll be a brilliant game, because Motherwell at this moment in time are full of confidence. They had that big victory last weekend. And yeah, they're a good team to watch, and I think they could possibly get their first victory today.
I think it's got a draw written all over
Do
it.
you?
Yeah, I do.
Another draw for Motherwell, surely
I
not.
think Aberdeen will just go down there. They've got
Sit
to
in?
change. Yeah. And
Do
try
you?
and hit them in the counter. Listen, they have to be hard to beat.
I think Motherwell can go 6 consecutive draws to open a league season.
Why not?
That would be incredible.
Yeah, why not? Success last week in the Cup up there. But I think with the manager trying to hang on to his job, fans are very restless at Pittodrie. I think he'll make it very difficult.
I think Aberdeen fans will want to see a goal. I think
Just any goal.
Genuinely, I think they've got to give them a goal. Or I think the negativity, yes, a draw will be okay for them. But
you think at that situation, Aberdeen fans singing the song? All we are wanting is give us a goal.
So here's the question: would Aberdeen fans prefer a 3-2 defeat to a 0-0 draw?
No,
Just
not
so
at
they
this
can
moment
see
in time.
something
But
in front of goal.
I think they've got
That's
to
all
give
we
them
are saying.
some
Sorry.
sort of hope with a goal.
Give us a goal.
What was that?
That was a famous chant, isn't it? All we are saying is just give us a goal.
Never heard it.
Never in my life.
He's made that. He's just made that.
That
up,
sounds like something out of the Ryder Cup playbook. The chants there have been cringeworthy.
The Americans are
embarrassing.
useless at making
Honestly,
songs up.
Embarrassing.
Absolutely terrible, the Americans are.
Sriracha across the face, a well-worked move from Celtic. No takers. It had been getting a little bit tetchy before that. That's the type of mood you like.
Oh, yeah.
You're very much into that sort of
It's
thing.
a dark day, rain.
Oh, it's chucking it down.
Yeah, dark and sinister. But they'll play all day, these two in Nottsgrove.
It is obviously a football show. Don't give you loads of updates, but it's one of the biggest sporting events. So if you are keeping an eye, Europe have now won 2 of their morning foursomes. USA won the first, so it's 7.5, 3.5 as things stand. Bob McIntyre is the only group still out. He's alongside Victor Hovland. They are 1 up on Scottish Sheffler and Henley after 15 holes, so going pretty well for Europe at the moment. Did you know 11 years ago I was at Glen Eagles and reporting into Super Scoreboard on a Saturday afternoon doing updates from the Ryder Cup.
I've never
Things have
been.
changed.
That's my bucket list.
Is it?
Yeah, mate. I'd like to go to America for a Ryder Cup.
Do you know a couple of years ago Gordon was a bit mixed up at what bucket list meant? He thought it was just meant like to-do list. He didn't think it was quite as like extreme as a bucket list, and I'm sure you said you wanted to go like ice skating or something.
Yeah.
Something really mundane, or like
Got
what was
a
it
big
again?
bucket list.
It was something real. No, it wasn't even as exciting as that. It was something really everyday because you thought it was like just a to-do list.
There's a lot of things I want to do in my life before I leave this.
I could only imagine.
Yeah, let's not read out that list for now. If you can.
No, that's been ticked off.
First visit to the second half teaser, Hugh.
Okay. I have played with Lyndon Dykes and Brian Graham. I have been managed by Billy Davies and Martin O'Neill. I had more than one spell at 2 of my clubs. Who am I?
Lots of people going for Kenny Miller.
No.
Alan Lappin going for him. Michael Smith going for him. Mark also wants to chuck in Barry Bannon.
Chuck him back out.
Michael Donati thinks it could be Stephen Pearson.
No.
Okay. Keep the guesses coming in at the Clyde SSB. Inverness 2, East Fife 1. David Witherspoon with his second of the day there. Your old team Man City have retaken the lead. They were pegged back by Burnley. I think that would have been enough to tip Pep over the edge.
Yeah.
But Nunez has put Man City back in front in that one.
Only one winner now, the Blues.
You think so?
There are 3 points in the bag. The other side of the city.
You ever go back down? No, you ever go and revisit?
No, I don't like to do that, Gordon. I don't like hogging the limelight.
Well, you don't like to go?
No, I don't like doing that. I don't think that's... But yeah, I hate players that go back and walk about like, you played, mate, just leave. Don't come back.
Well, there's a few of them about.
They would blank Erling Haaland and blank Pep Guardiola to get to you.
Listen, I went about a few years ago to a game, and I went to the boardroom and I got a director's box seat, and it was absolutely brilliant. I thanked them very much.
Sounds made up though.
No, it was 100% fact.
What, for Man City?
Yeah,
okay.
and I thanked him and I said, look, it'll be the last time I'll ever be back in the stadium, because I went back, I'd done my thing, that was it, said my farewells.
Right, enough. I've had enough of that one particular lie, because I know that another one will be along
joining it
soon. Brendan Rodgers turn to his bench at any point soon, do we think?
Well, he's past the 60-minute mark. They haven't scored. They've spurned innumerable chances. The trouble he has is that what are you going to do? Who's going to play through the middle for you?
Yeah, that's it. Your sort of two striking options, or
on the
main
pitch.
striking options are on the pitch.
Yeah, he could move one or two about. He could put Maeda through the middle. Because
is he an actual
going to play full
to
90?
play another 90? Hard to
No,
know.
I would imagine not. It's just who he plays out in that right flank. Will he throw Yang on again? Will he throw?
Yang's not involved, is he? I don't think.
Forrest on the bench. I didn't really look at the bench. I didn't listen to Gabs. So I don't really know who's on the bench today for Celtic. But
is there a striker on it, Gordon?
Kenny? Is Kenny on it?
So yeah, James Forrest is there. Johnny Kenny's there. Balakwisha.
Oh no! He's reversing into the dugout as we speak.
Are you seriously writing him off already?
100%. I'm telling you right now, 100%.
You said the same with Nicholas Kuhn.
Who did? No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
Negrin and Forrest are getting ready.
Okay.
Yeah.
Seem most likely?
Yes, and I'll probably.
Well, it does seem most likely because they're getting ready. That was a silly question.
And Luke McCown will probably be the midfield player that comes off.
Again, it's just the personnel change, a bit of energy. They'll probably try to inject something different for Hibs to have to think about, because at the moment, certainly what we've heard is Celtic are in control, but they just can't find that breakthrough. They've not had that many opportunities in the last 10 minutes either. It seems as if Hibs are quite happy in their shape.
Well, Celtic have the ball in the net, but the flag goes up, so VAR will take a look. I am sure Iheanacho turned home Sirachi's cross, so they will keep an eye on it.
Gordon, did you say James Forrest? Yeah,
I did.
Right, so that tells you right away your new signing, James Forrest, has come on before your new signing. What does that tell you?
Well, they did say that Balakwisha's another who wants to play off the left. So if you're not ready to take Tonetke off, if you're saying that Balakwisha needs time and all the rest of it, then you're not going to stick him on out of position again if you don't have to, are you?
Well, he can come on and come into his left foot, favour left foot in the right wing. I don't think it's difficult.
Yeah, we're going to have to wait and see on the... I actually noticed that the old video printer's got that Celtic goal already coming through. Hopefully Gabs can give us an update.
Yeah, you would think Gabs would be on it knowing that he's at the game.
No goal, so the video printer will need to take that off. They've gone a bit early there. That had me confused for a second. No goal, according to Gabriel, who's in the stadium. So there we go. It looked very tight, according to our man on the ground. Very tight indeed.
Yeah, again, but you would expect when they've looked at VAR, they'll made the correct decision with offside. So generally that's what is it. Yeah, look, I think it will have been the correct decision.
There's the change. Engels and Iheanacho off, Forrest and Negrin on.
Engels, kept McGowan on. I thought you'd have taken him off.
Iheanacho has run his race.
Maeda just goes straight swap through to the middle.
You imagine so.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Still a bit of football still to be played at that Celtic Park.
If you're a believer in fate, Maeda, grumpy, huffy, Brendan Rodgers calls him out, and the following day he scores the winner.
Yeah,
if you believe in fate.
Very possibly.
Listen, Celtic have seen this story plenty of times where they've been frustrated, they've had loads of possession. It's a patience game that they need to play at home. Teams sit in. Hibs are a good team, so they need to be wary of them on the counter-attack. But listen, they've seen it plenty of times where they wear them down in the last 10 minutes. Teams get tired mentally and they end up getting that goal. They'll be hoping that story plays out today as well.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it's been a particularly bad performance, but that's just the challenge at home. You've got to try and find that breakthrough. That tends to be the hardest bit. It's also, Gordon, if we're talking big picture about potential regression and stuff, credit to Celtic. They made these tasks look quite easy at this stage last season. Because look, Hibs are good. Hibs have got good players, and if Hibs want to come and make life difficult for you, they will. It is not a given that you break all these teams down, but last season Celtic actually were doing that.
Yeah, but a few of the games went late on before they found the breakthrough, especially Celtic Park. You're right, teams are more organised now. Hibs have got better players. They're a good side. They've got experienced guys that know how to go and play the positions and make it very difficult for Celtic. I still believe that, look, if you gave Brendan Rodgers a 1-0 just now, he'd be delighted with that.
Oh, yeah.
I still believe there's a goal at Celtic Park.
Reminder of the teaser, Hugh, if we can, please.
Okay. I have played with Lyndon Dykes and Brian Graham. I have been managed by Billy Davies and Martin O'Neill. I had more than one spell at 2 of my clubs. Who am I?
More than one spell at 2 clubs. Alan thinks it could be Chris Commons.
No.
Lewis McDonald thinks it could be Stephen Dobie.
Nope.
Darren thinks Paul McGowan.
No.
Mark thinks David Templeton.
No.
Okay. Keep the guesses coming then. At Clyde SSB, we are hopefully going to get a few on the podium.
So, Hearts, as things stand, are 2 points clear at the top of the league, unless Celtic can find a goal from somewhere, or Hibs find the goal, and Hearts are 3 points clear at the top of the league.
Another busy day for Scott Bain. He's made another save, unfortunately for him. He's already let a couple in, so Hearts are looking comfortable, Cammy.
Yeah, they are. Again, Scott Bain, touching him, I never really got to speak about him before. He's a really top goalkeeper. Again, you don't spend several years at Celtic. I know he didn't play a lot, but you don't even get to the club if you're not a top goalkeeper. So I thought he was a brilliant signing for Falkirk, and they didn't make many signings in the summer, and that's probably why they have struggled. Don't have a huge amount of experience in their team and strength and depth, so I think he'll be a real asset for them this season, but I still think they will struggle.
Fraser says that you feel like Hearts could score every time they get near the box, Gordon, so you wonder if that is a kind of stylistic thing that really suits them today, or they genuinely have really stepped it up, because they've been good, but they've not like they've been blowing teams away. As we mentioned a bit of a late show at Tannadice with set pieces, 3-0 down to Motherwell. It's not like they've been absolutely running over the top of teams, but today it certainly looks like that is the case.
Yeah, the style of play of Falkirk may have just suited them right down to a T, Gordon. You know that John will stick to his philosophy, getting the ball down and playing it, try to pass through the lines, as they say in the modern day game, and it might just have suited Hearts brilliantly with the players that they've got. Obviously it has, because they're very comfortable, and you would see them probably adding to that lead just now.
However, getting near the box is not a concept being exercised in Paisley in the second half, according to Andrew McLean. So very much a low excitement affair, that one. St Mirren had the first half lead, though.
St Mirren fans will take it.
Yep.
If it's 1-0, they'll be quite happy with that, thank you very much, and move on.
And again, that'll be a decent start for St Mirren. We've spoke about their cup that they managed to get in a semi-final. They've got a brilliant draw, which will set up Motherwell and them looking forward to try and get to a final. So if they can manage to get 3 points today, it's just another one chalked off. It's an excellent victory for Stephen Robinson if he can see it through, and another 3 points on the board.
As things stand, they'll go third.
Yeah.
Dundee United are losing.
Yep. They'll go on to 9 points.
Yeah. So, and Hibs are on 7. They could, of course, beat Celtic and go on to 10. That would change things. But, as I say, both look as if they could play all day and not score.
Kieran Bowie's putting himself about. Both Celtic centre-backs have been booked for challenges on him. I'm sure his manager would like to try and get him involved in front of goal a bit more. We've not had too many Hibs opportunities. Hardly any, actually. But still, the crucial fact remains. Celtic 0, Hibs 0.
Celtic's home games, they started with St Mirren and struggled, and Luke McCowan with a deflected goal got them the points then. You talk about Hearts not being able to sustain it. This Celtic side in its current shape and form won't sustain it either. They need a January transfer window. This is not vintage Celtic, nothing like it.
Still not lost yet, though. I know because we live week to week, it's just not. It's not that unusual that you might draw the odd game here or there at home, is it?
Well, I had high hopes at the start for the front three, and they have not delivered. Iniacho's off.
Then the rest are about to follow, I suspect, because Balikwisha, Kenny, and Bernardo are coming on.
Well, no.
It's a big three, yeah?
That doesn't work.
Yeah, he's certainly going for it. But the substitutions changed the full forward line. It'll be interesting.
And
could this be a big day for Balikwisha?
Will it be Luke McCowan off for Bernardo?
Yeah.
He's another one that, is not seen a lot
gets
of football this season,
does he? And I think he's a fabulous footballer. I don't know. Brendan Rodgers just doesn't fancy him as a starter. I think he's a good player, Bernardo. But listen, Brendan Rodgers knows better. He's made the changes. He's looking for a response, and he's looking for a goal that would get them the valuable 3 points.
Now Balikwisha looks nervous in a Celtic jersey. He's got 15 minutes. The crowd will not be happy with what's going on so far.
Tenetki's smacked one wide. He cut in onto his right foot.
The circumstances do not seem to suit Balikwisha. He can now only confound everyone by doing something.
But again, he's got the opportunity. This is a big opportunity where Celtic are struggling to break this Hibs team down, and he's getting an opportunity with 15-20 minutes on the pitch to try and make a difference. Same for Kenny as well. This is a chance to go and put a little bit of a statement, a little bit of a marker down that you want to get in this team. When you've been given the opportunity, you need to step up at Celtic, so it'll be interesting.
Yeah, Tunetke, Maeda and McCowan off, so it is a very different looking attack for Celtic. Now Johnny Kenny leading the line with James Forrest on one side and Balikwisha on the other.
Well, again, you used to have a front three that was class personified, and now, with the greatest respect, you've got Balikwisha and Johnny Kenny and a 34-year-old James Forrest. Who's kidding who?
I still think the Balikwisha comments just have to be tempered. The guy's like third or fourth game. Why do we keep doing this? I don't think he's looked good either.
No,
but
you've made your mind up, haven't you?
100% I have. But and I'm usually very good at it.
So you'll score in the next 10 minutes?
No, you won't. Listen, see if he goes forward, I'd give him man a match.
I would say what you do more often is you praise players who turn out to be rubbish, and then you stick by them. This is actually a change for you. You're trying to do the opposite.
Name the players I've said that were rubbish.
The other way around, I said that you loved and didn't contribute. Right.
Bernaby is now how many millions is club signing?
I said contribute whilst they're here.
It's the same. I've seen something in them.
Yeah, but here, I don't care what they do elsewhere.
I
don't care what they do elsewhere. You should have scored 4 the other night.
My argument was quite simple. I seen something in these guys that people didn't.
Because it wasn't there when they were here.
Well, maybe just Scottish football, but not as a footballer. Balikwisha, for me, has to get the ball and go forward. You can't keep passing the ball back the way.
He just likes to link the play, Brendan Rodgers says.
The full-back must be doing his head in every time he gets the ball.
Okay, we'll wait and see. It's not I'm not predicting that you're going to be wrong. I just think 4 games is verging on foolish, because you probably said the same about Nicholas Kuhn. Lots of people did.
I didn't. I said Nicholas Kuhn would come good once
I'm not sure.
Once he got his teeth sorted. I knew that, because we've all been there with toothache, nothing worse. So there's a lot of players that I have said and they've came good. I get the odd one wrong, Hugh. You'll get it wrong.
I think at 5 o'clock this becomes the grief counselling line for Celtic and Rangers fans. I repeat, once upon a time Celtic had a front three of Kuhn, Jota, Maeda, and now it's 34-year-old James Forrest, Balikwisha, let's say, looking intimidated by
a slow start. I can give you a slow start.
Looking intimidated by wearing a Celtic jersey. And Johnny Kenny, work in progress.
Yeah, but listen, you need to give them time. You need to give them time to settle in. And again, what I said before, they've got 20 minutes to go and show. When the pressure's on, when the expectation's there to try and get a goal, they've obviously had a lot of control of the game. They've created a couple of opportunities. It seems to have dimmed down the second half. There's not been as much, but certainly they've not been. Kasper Schmeichel's not had much to do at all throughout the whole game, but this is an opportunity for them guys to come on and show what they can do.
Hamilton Accies have gone 2-0 up at home to Stenhousemuir. Kevin O'Hara with the goal there. It sounds like a very quiet second half in Paisley, that's for sure. Dundee United, Gordon, no fight back for them?
No, I thought they had a good result in midweek against Aberdeen, but I just had that feeling for Kilmarnock going up there, Kettlewell, well organised, get 1 or 2 players that are dangerous up the front line. I thought it could have been a big afternoon. It's certainly turning out that way for the Rugby Park faithful.
St Mirren are causing a couple of scares for Dundee with the set pieces. It's not really been high in entertainment value, but I think Stephen Robinson would take it. that pre-match sickness bug picked up by Simon Murray not helping their cause in an attacking sense. A bit of Dundee United pressure, but a bit flat. That'll be a real anti-climax, that one today. I'm pretty sure the Dundee United fans were so buoyed by what they've done recently, and then a home game, no disrespect against Kilmarnock, you can see the thinking. It just would have gone down as one that they would have fancied winning.
I give the Dazzler 100% credit for calling it before the game started, but I think Cammy were with me, I am astonished at the way the afternoon has gone. Jim Goodwin, I think, had picked the same team 3 or 4 games in a row, and they're off the back of a good win over Aberdeen at Tannadice, and I did not see this coming.
Actually, I went for a draw, but what the problem with getting Kilmarnock a result, they've been so poor away from home for so long.
For a long time.
Yeah, for a long time, and that's what doesn't give me confidence saying Kilmarnock are going to go and get a victory away from home. So that was probably my reasoning, because I've seen them, they obviously beat Dundee United in the League Cup this season, so again there is evidence there that they can beat them, but certainly going up to Tannadice, it's a huge result for Killie. It's a big result for Stuart Kettlewell as well.
It's actually Killie who have a go again. Brad Lyons shot tipped over. Some team news coming in from Fir Park. An unchanged team and squad overall for Motherwell. So Callum Ward in goal, the back 4 of Stephen O'Donnell, Liam Gordon, Stephen Welsh and Emmanuel Longello. The midfield 3, Elliot Watt, Lucas Fadinger and Ibrahim Said. And the front 3, Regan, Charles Cook, Tawanda Maswanise and Apostolos Stamatolopoulos. Do you like the sound of that, Gordon, for your hometown team?
Yeah, I'm not surprised he's went the same again. I thought it was a good performance. Charles Cook goal was something special. He's got that in his locker. That's what he's been brought to Motherwell for. I think it'll be a good game, be a good crowd there, but I just think Aberdeen will come down and make it very difficult for Motherwell and try and get a platform to build from. And I think if they got a draw tonight at Fir Park, then they got the road and look to build on that.
Aberdeen might even have changed their shape here. They might have gone 3 at the back.
There you go, 5.
Yeah, Mitov in goal, Devlin, Noster, Milne, Tobers and Gyamfe. So yeah, possibly Shinnie, Palaversa, Alshish, Carlson and Nisbet. So again, on paper that does look like a decent side, Cammy, but we've said that every game this season.
Yeah, listen, it's a good side, it's a good squad. No matter what Aberdeen team they put out, they've got good players on the pitch. It's just that confidence, they're really low in confidence. Again, it's always difficult going in a game when you've got lack of goals. So straight away, if you concede a goal, then automatically there's no getting away from it. You're thinking we're really struggling because we can't score a goal. So they need to get away from that. They need to, probably right with what Daz is saying, is that will they sit in and try and play a more counter-attack game and make sure they get the clean sheet and try and build on that? That's maybe a different way of approaching the game, but certainly they need to get a result.
Into round about the last 10 minutes, I would imagine, at Celtic Park. Yes, indeed, we are. The stats are all as you would expect. Celtic by a mile, 77% possession and shots and target and XG and whatever you like, but the most important one, it is blank on the scoreboard. Will it change in the next 10 minutes? Even if it does, if it doesn't, the number 01419511025. Braga, Radio Braga, has got a standing ovation on his way off. Elton Kabangu has gone on, so Hearts comfortable. And just seeing this one out,
champions elect Hearts comfortable.
Bernardo effort from the edge of the box, well saved there. So there's still a bit of time.
Edinburgh Derby next week. Whoa.
Oh, it should be good.
What a game that
is it? Tynecastle, yeah,
I think so.
That'll be a tasty one. I think that's Saturday night, isn't it? Yep.
Yeah.
It is Tynecastle, yes, next Saturday evening. Should be a cracker. Very much looking forward to that. Would you fancy Hearts at this stage, given their early season format? Well, you've got them winning the league, so of course you would, but to the other two of you?
Home advantage. Yeah, but you see Hibs today going to Celtic Park, everybody tipping Celtic to win that one. Very well organised, sat in, made it difficult for Celtic so far.
Yeah, again, you look at Hibs, their defence, they've got Grant Hanley, for me, is a key player in there. He'll be shepherding that defence, he'll be making sure they're organised, switched on, but I would slightly make Hearts favourite, certainly next week.
Well, we've got plenty of football to be played before we get to that, but it is one to stick in the diary and look forward to. Maybe, Hugh, in the interests of late drama, should we get any, let's round this off.
Let's go.
The second half teaser.
With the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
I have played with Lyndon Dykes and Brian Graham. I have been managed by Billy Davies and Martin O'Neill. I had more than one spell at two of my clubs. I am Faddy James McFadden.
James McFadden, you forget he played for Queen of the South alongside Lyndon Dykes. He played for St Johnstone alongside Brian Graham. Billy Davies gave him his debut around that time at Motherwell. Martin O'Neill at Sunderland, and he had two spells at Everton and three at Motherwell. So there you go. Connor was the fastest. Well done to Conor McNair. I've not done it in reverse order for some unknown reason, but Conor McNair the winner. Well done. Scott McScott in second place, and I think that might be it. I don't think we had a third place. Such was the difficulty of Hugh's teaser. If you did get it right and we've overlooked you, then huge apologies. But at Clyde SSB, Gordon Dalziel is groaning and is golf related.
What a putt!
A huge putt from Victor Hovland to keep him and Bob McIntyre one up heading up the last, which could be crucial. It looked like they were bang up against it there, but they are one up, so this could cap off a very important morning for Team Europe. Just you concentrate on the football for now. Because we are in the
dying stages.
This is only at this stage of the game that I'm willing to come round to Hugh Keevan's way of thinking. You know, he predicts it after half an hour, and maybe he's a trailblazer, maybe he's just ahead of the game, who knows. Yep. But it's at this stage that you think, yeah, maybe he's onto something.
Play all day.
8 minutes or so. United penalty. Any life left in that? Lucas Stevenson down in the box. If they were to score now, would you give them a chance?
Yeah. Again, it's just the timing of the goal. If you've got 7-8 minutes left in the game, the pressure that builds on the side that have been 2-0 up.
We're a bit further ahead there, so we're in the 87th.
No, game's over.
Saved. Penalty saved anyway.
Game's over.
Great save, Zach Sapsford with the penalty.
Max Strike.
Saved by Max Strike and goal.
Yeah, he's been a good signing, Max Strike, for Kilmarnock. I think they needed a goalkeeper who's, again, probably been there and done it in the leagues, and they know he can be consistent, so he's a big player for them.
Yeah, he did well at Livingston, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
He's made a potentially crucial save there. Whether it would have been enough to alter the outcome of the game, even if it had gone in, who knows, but you would rather certainly see it out with the 2-goal advantage currently, and as has been the case for a long time, it is Celtic and Hibs who are the only team without a breakthrough. We're a bit further, but we've still got a good bit to go there. We're only in the 86th, so a few plus whatever change is added.
If they play until Tuesday, it'll be the same.
Yeah, I know, but you keep saying that, and usually you're wrong, and then so you might as well just wait.
Well, I don't have time to wait.
Like, it was only a couple of weeks ago you said Celtic's it was impossible for them to beat Livingston or something, did you not?
What was the score?
Yeah. They won. I don't know what the score, but they won anyway. Wraith Rovers 3, Arbroath.
I just think this fuels
0.
the argument against the board, the chaotic transfer window. I repeat, Celtic are finishing the game with a front three of Balikwisha, Johnny Kenny and James Forrest. You are having a laugh.
Yeah, and listen, there'll obviously be a bit of that, and we'll never move totally away from it. But Balikwisha was signed for £5 million in the much maligned transfer window, so it becomes more about trying to get guys to hit the ground running or whatever than it does about not. Granted, Johnny Kenny maybe not the type of profile of striker Celtic would want to use at this stage of a game, but
no, listen, we know they're short. But again, as you say, Balikwisha, he's signed for a lot of money. It's maybe that one that, because he's not hit the ground running, and Celtic are in desperate need of players to hit the ground running, because they've probably got lack of quality within their squad. This is when it shows. The last few minutes, have they got guys that they can bring on for the last 20 minutes that are going to change a game? It certainly doesn't look that way yet. But listen, the game's not over.
Because that's the thing, it depends where you are. Everyone becomes a victim of circumstance. I keep mentioning Nicholas Kuhn, but he could take a while to get going because he wasn't required, but that's probably why everything's easier when your team's successful.
Do you know what though? We're focusing on players who were bought. I look at Callum McGregor. used to be inspirational for Celtic in the middle of the park, his powers have diminished. And he has had a stellar career with Celtic and has been a wonderful captain in succession to Scott Brown, but his powers are now greatly diminished, and that hasn't helped Celtic.
5 added at Tannadice, but it's a long way back. That could be a crucial goal. We said it was going to take some stopping. St Johnstone, they were almost stopped today. However, Josh McPake, who's been one of the standout players, has gone and scored an 89th minute probable winner down here at Queen's Park.
Yeah, it's a big goal for St Johnstone, that. Gets them another 3 points on the board, especially another away game.
So Hearts, top of the league, 12 points ahead of Rangers.
They're singing Bring on the Highbees, Hugh. That's how much they're enjoying their day.
They're entitled to that one. And Hearts 2 points ahead of Celtic. It's a severe anticlimax for Celtic, given that they've got that European tie at home to Braga coming up on Thursday night.
And it's going to be quiet for half an hour this time.
Yeah, and Celtic and Rangers, it's barely believable that the issues they have on and off the park now, and you have a city full of unhappy supporters of both teams.
Good chance Johnny Kenny heads over the bar. Will it be the final chance?
Yeah, it could be. It's been a frustrating afternoon if you're a Celtic fan and you're a Celtic player. And Brendan Rodgers, it'll be interesting to hear his quotes after the game, Gordon. But all credit to Hibs. They would have been delighted at 3 o'clock with a point, back up the M8, and look forward to Edinburgh Derby next weekend.
Cammie's just happy that Annan have scored a third against East Kilbride.
Scotty will be slumped in his seat at the moment.
Oh, it was the unfancied Annan at home to East Kilbride. It looks like they've won it 3-1. There's a Dundee corner, chance for them to rescue something. The board has gone up, 4 minutes added on. That'd be great. Dig out if they could, if Stephen Presley's side could find something right at the end.
Yeah, he would certainly take it. There's no doubt about that. Losing his top striker before kick-off must have been a big blow, especially when you're down at Stephen Robinson's St Mirren. You know, it's always got to be a hard fixture. You want all your best players, but St Mirren once again just plodding away, getting the results, knowing how to get the job done. So another valuable 3 points for him.
Easy save for Jamal George in the end. 4 minutes added. That is it. Well, a minimum of 4 for Celtic to try and find a breakthrough, and Hibs for that matter. It's just we've not really seen David Gray's side attack in any meaningful way. 4 minutes to get it done, and after that we want to hear what you made of it. 0141 951 1025. Line up the phones.
I'll tell you now what they made of it. There will be disgusted Celtic supporters, disgusted in every way with the team on the park, the performance today, the situation that leaves you with a front three of Ballaquisha, James Forrest and Johnny Kenny.
Do you think a home draw, a 0-0 when you can't find the breakthrough, is it disgusting? You know, is it that much?
Today, in the atmosphere that grips the city, the Rangers fans are disgusted, the Celtic fans will be disgusted with this display, and there's not a happy man, woman or child in the place.
4 minutes added in Fraser Wishart's game at Tynecastle as well, but that looks done and dusted anyway. Good game between Ayr and Airdrie has finished. It's 4-2 to Ayr in the end. The Seagulls have gone and scored a late winner at the Bridge.
Against Chelsea. My goodness.
Big goal. Must be happy with that, Hugh Keevans.
Yeah, brilliant.
The family will be celebrating, I'm sure.
Mr. Maresca will not be happy.
No, I don't suppose he will be. Right, we're into added time. This is it. Are we going to see anything? Are Celtic capable of throwing a kitchen sink? They probably should have won this earlier on, but passed up good chances. And will there be one final opportunity? Would it fall to one of the unfancied attackers, a Ballaquisha, a Johnny Kenny? I'm not saying James Forrest is unfancied, but clearly at a stage in his career where he's doing a certain support act job for the club as well.
The story will be that Celtic obviously haven't scored and managed to break down Hibs, but listen, you take nothing away from Hibs, because they're a good side, and again they've got a decent defence. They've been leaking goals, which David Gray's identified and said has been a problem for them. They've came with a game plan, they've stuck to it.
You wonder if the Iheanacho chance in the first half's the one that keeps Celtic
Yeah,
fans
we're
up
hearing-
tonight. If it doesn't go their way, it's a bit of a sitter.
We're hearing that he should really put it away, Gordon.
Full time Tannadice, David Friel.
Full time Gordon Dundee United 0, Kilmarnock 2. Well done to Kelly for a first Premiership win of the season, and well done to Gordon Dale for predicting it. Stuart Kettlewell's side, a complete team performance from them. They'll take huge confidence from this, so they should. They don't often win away from home, but they did it with a bit of style. Goals from Bruce Anderson and Robbie Dees. United far from their best. Zach Sapsler's late penalty miss summed up their day really. Kelly took the lead in 26 minutes. David Watson found Anderson. Low finish from the edge of the box, great finish. Everyone expected a United reaction after the break, but it was Kelly who came out in search of a second. David Watson and Bruce Anderson came close before Robbie Dees did make it 2-0. Tom Thompson's back post cross found the defender. The officials ruled that his header had crossed the line. United did have chances to get back in. Vichko Chauvet, Nikolai Mola both tested strike. Kelly were also a threat, and Marcus Stackers and Brad Lyons both came close to making it 3-0. United ran out of ideas really against an outstanding Kelly defence, but they then did get a chance to pull a goal back when Stryk clattered into Lucas Stevenson. It was a definite penalty, but the Kelly keeper made amends with a top save. The Stuart Kettlewell and his players deserve all the praise that's coming their way after a brilliant win on the road. Dundee United 0, Kilmarnock 2.
Another Johnny Kenny header, another one that nearly goes in but doesn't, and we're nearly finished 0-0 as things stand at Celtic Park. It's done in Paisley though, Andrew McLean.
St Mirren 1, Dundee 0, the full-time score here in Paisley. Back-to-back wins in the Premiership for Stephen Robinson's side, and it's a result that should see them rise to third in the table. Killian Phillips, the hero on the day, with his first half goal sealing all 3 points. Not too much action in the opening stages as the rain lashed down, but St Mirren looked the more likely side throughout. That was despite Shamal George having to make the first save of the match, turning Trey Wright's low-effort round the near post. The St Mirren chances then started to come though. Alex Gogic and Jonah Ayunga both testing John McCracken in the Dundee goal, and Roland Adowu rolling just wide. That was just before the breakthrough. That came through Killian Phillips 5 minutes before half time. He's really established himself as a fan favourite here in Paisley as well. It was an initial shot that came from Mikael Mandron, left side of the box, fired it low towards goal, and there was the Ireland international Phillips to stick out a leg, divert it past John McCracken and into the back of the net for 1-0. Truth be told, into the second half it lacked real quality from either side. Frustration from both teams as they couldn't really have any sort of cutting edge. Neither goalkeeper had much to do in that second 45. It was end to end for a bit during that final 10 minutes as things opened up, but Killian Phillips' first half strike was the defining moment of the game. The full time score in Paisley: St Mirren 1, Dundee 0.
A big result from Celtic Park, Gabriel.
Celtic 0, Hibs 0. A few boos ringing around the stadium at the full-time whistle on the day. Fans began an escalating silent protest on the running of the club. Despite controlling the match and having the majority of chances, a lacklustre performance in the final third from Celtic means the game ends a stalemate, and it has repercussions to the league table as they drop to second place. Celtic hit the bar twice in the first half. Kelechi Iheanacho, when he should have rounded off a swift counter-attack with a goal, and then Marcello Saraki, his cross-come shot clipping the frame of the goal. There was plenty of chances after that, but Callum McGregor, Dyson Maida and Arne Engels all forcing saves or heroic blocks from the back line. Iheanacho did have the ball in the back of the net after the hour mark, but it was rightly ruled out for offside. Hibs had their best chance in stoppage time of the first 45, Warren O'Hora somehow missing and putting the ball over from inside 5 yards. Raphael Salinger in the Hibs goal made a top save from Paulo Bernardo with 10 to go, and then it looked like a goal might come from Johnny Kenny. He had 2 headers right at the end of the game, one over and one tipped round for a corner. It's another draw for Hibs, but it feels like much more than a point for David Gray's men, who are currently celebrating in front of their jubilant away fans. Full credit to them. Their game plan worked perfectly. They remain unbeaten in the league and they sit in 5th place, but it's a blow for Brendan Rodgers' men, who now sit in second, 2 points behind leaders Hearts. Who would have thought that would be the case at the end of September? And a 4th 0-0 of the season for the defending champions, who might be 10 points clear of rivals Rangers, but they may still find themselves embroiled in a serious title race this campaign. Full time at Parkhead, Celtic 0, Hibs 0.
Well, what did you make of that, Celtic fans? Not a lot going on in front of goal. How do you feel? Call us right now, 01419511025. Last but not least, Fraser Wishart has the full-time picture from the capital.
Yeah, Hearts 3, Falkirk 0. No drama here, comfortable win. Hearts looking like a really good side, all round a really good day for Hearts and the supporters. They won by 3 goals, and to us it could have been more. The fans singing Bring on the Hybrids before the end. Kizide, Shanklin and Halkett with the goals. Hearts comfortably ahead at the break. They were 2 up the opener, Was it a piece of individual brilliance in 21 minutes? Alexander Kiridis, he cut inside past two defenders, hit a brilliant shot, bend, dip, pace into top left-hand corner, a wonderful goal. It was 2 and 41 minutes. Lon Shankland this time and space to turn 25 yards out. He just drilled a low shot into the bottom right-hand corner. Bain with no chance. It could have been more because Kiridis and Finlay were denied by really good saves by Bain. Pocket had up their game in the second half, but it didn't happen. It was still all Hearts. 2 minutes in, Bain, a brilliant save to deny Shankland. Full stretch low to his right, but that only delayed the third because from that corner, from Kiridis, whipped the ball in, take Halkett unmarked, headed high into the top left-hand corner to make it 3-0. No way back for Falkirk. They did respond. Scott Arfield, a decent chance, but he missed his shot from 12 yards. A Miller pass. Miller was then burst into the box, but his shot was well wide. He should have done much better. Then the game just was at the other end, and every time Hearts attacked, you think they could score. Shankland brought another great save, but Bain he beat away a fierce 18-yard shot. Keeper then had to be sharp to push a Braga shot over, and you just felt Hearts were going to attack and score more. Kiridis, already a fan's favourite, standing ovation when he was subbed late on, as was Claudio Braga. Hearts fans clearly have new idols. Dylan Tate was denied a consolation goal in stoppage time. Swallow, who was hardly anything to do in the game, diving to his right to push the ball away, but it ends with the Hearts players going round to applaud the Hearts fans. Their team are top of the table, been a great turnaround, and the fans are loving every single minute. Full time at Tynecastle, Hearts 3, Falkirk 0.
And now it is over to you. 0141 951 1025. That's the number you need, so give us a call right now. You'll also be able to watch as we do during the week. We're going to stream the show from now on YouTube and Facebook and all the rest of it, so make sure you tune in there. We're going to take your calls on today's action. Celtic fans, where did that go wrong? How are you feeling after that draw? And Rangers fans, Livingston, tomorrow, Russell Martin, all the usual. Give us a call right now if you can, and we'll speak to you next.
This season, I want to feel it from the start, from the whistle, from the first touch. Want to beat the odds, want to take an early lead, want to see why he costs so much money, want to shout pen before the ref has even called it, want to see the call go our way for once. I want to hear their lot go quiet, want to see them leave early, want to drop into the group chat to tell them I've seen the future, want to hear them agree, and if not I'll say, want to bet? Bet Fred. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
You can't do much in under 5 minutes. Boil an egg? Sure. Cook a roast dinner? No chance. But comparing car insurance prices with mustard.co.uk? Easy. See what you could save in just a few minutes. Click mustard.co.uk. Authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority. See website for details.
What's on TV? The answer is a lot. There's never been more choice over what to put on the box with an abundance of great new shows, but you can miss them all if you don't know where to look. And that's where the Pilot TV podcast comes in, your essential guide to every show that matters. Each week we sift through the very best in prestige TV to help you decide what's worth spending your time on and what isn't. So join me, James Dyer, as well as venerable TV critics Boyd Hilton and Kay Ribeiro, and let us help take the stress out of your downtime. The Pilot TV podcast, because you can't watch everything.
After they play, you have your say. 0141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboard's open line.
Yes, it's that time on a Saturday when after the action you give us your reaction to what you've just witnessed or listened to or overseen from a distance. However you took in your football today, I'm still sure you'll have an opinion on it. So 0141 951 1025 is the number as always, and I'm pretty certain, Hugh, the headlines will be Celtic drawing a blank at home to Hibs.
Yeah, of course it will. Celtic are 10 points ahead of Rangers. That is likely to be reduced to 7 tomorrow. A Rangers team who are having a dire start to the season and a manager not wanted by the support. So the performance by Celtic at home today has to be unacceptable. You look at the strength and depth in the squad and it's highly questionable. Hearts are now 2 points ahead of Celtic and look a better team than Celtic. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, I agree. I think if you're a Celtic fan, you'll be disappointed. I know there was a 12-minute silence, but look, they dominated most of the game, just couldn't get the breakthrough. I think the substitutions will be highly talked about, Gordon, and I think that's the problem with the squad. You know, you're bringing on young Kenny, James Forrest, these guys that probably, if you'd have got your transfer market right in the first place, probably wouldn't be coming on the pitch. But well done to Hibs. They went there with a game plan. Terrific point. Kilmarnock, great away victory up at Tannadice against Dundee United as well. St Mirren just keep turning over results. You've got to say Hearts are in a real bit of form just now, and I'm certainly looking forward to Motherwell and Aberdeen later tonight.
Yeah, again, a brilliant result for Hearts, first and foremost. I think they're in really good form. I approached that game professionally, got the job done in the first half and kicked on and made sure they got the 3 points. But again, when you look at Celtic Park, I think a lot of the Celtic fans will be frustrated with, as Daz said, the subs that come on and just the impact that they've probably had. Again, you've got to give Hibs credit. They've went there with a game plan. They've sat and made it difficult for Celtic, and Celtic couldn't find that breakthrough and have dropped points.
Whether it's today's action, tomorrow's, or something else entirely, it's the same number. 01419511025. Celtic fans, what did you make of today's performance? St Mirren fans, a good win for you. Why not share your thoughts? Anyone heading into Motherwell, Aberdeen, we'll hear from you as well if you don't mind. And of course tomorrow, Rangers fans, every single night and day at the moment, we've got a whole heap of negativity from you coming through in the phones. How are you feeling ahead of tomorrow? Let's dive in with Chris, who's first up. Hi Chris.
Hello.
Hi Chris, how are you?
Sorry, how are you doing? I think it's just blatantly obvious Celtic did need to replace the players that were sold. Kuhn, Kyogo, Matt Riley. The day they created enough chances, they just couldn't get it in the back of the net. The one they did get chopped after offside, so I think the board's sitting with egg in their face.
Again, Hugh, I think this always becomes about the bigger picture as well, quite quickly, because I'll repeat what I said there. I think in isolation, you can draw a game 0-0 at home to Hibs. Like we can't fall into the trap of thinking Celtic are going to win every single game. They never have. They never will. But if there's a feeling that everything's rosy and you're in good form and you do it, you can brush it off as a one-off. But for fans like Chris and maybe others, they're fearing that this is something a bit deeper.
Yeah, I think there are concerns in many different ways at Celtic. As I said, that for me, the captain has been a wonderful performer, but is a diminished power now, Callum McGregor. They miss Alistair Johnson at full-back. They let Greg Taylor go. How much the Celtic fans must miss him now. Never gave him credit while he was there. And all over the place. I know it's early days, but Balaquisha looks miscast as a Celtic player. I thought Tinekte might respond to his first game at Celtic Park. Didn't. Iniacho's already done his bit with goals against Red Star Belgrade and getting the points at Kilmarnock. He will be better still, but Arne Engels, it's no longer a cliche about giving him time. You know, he looks nondescript all over. I just see an ordinary looking squad, an ordinary looking team.
The only thing I will say, Gordon, the minute Celtic drop any points, especially at home, the board are always got to get the blame of it. Celtic created a lot of chances today, according to Gab's Celtic Park.
Well, yeah, I think just the stats tell you it was a game Celtic should have won but didn't.
They bossed the game, they had all the possession. Hibs made it very difficult. You've got to try and capitalise on one of those chances. It just didn't work for them today, but as much as it's disappointing for Celtic, I don't think it's a massive disaster for them. If they'd have turned up today and Hibs looked a more threatening side and they were off at Celtic, they weren't sharp, they weren't creating chances, I can totally understand the frustration. But they were.
Yeah, but that's what we're saying. It's not that today is a disaster. Of course it's not. Even in our dramatic world that it's not, but the fans are maybe worried that it's more symptomatic of wider issues about the strength of the squad and maybe where things are at.
I totally agree. You've seen the substitutions coming on. I think that if Celtic had a better transfer window, no disrespect to the guys that come on, I think you would have had probably better quality coming on the pitch to change games. That's where under Postecoglou I thought Celtic were brilliant. They made their substitutions, and Brendan Rodgers done it as well when he had a real good squad. He was making his substitutions and they were making such a big difference. They were coming on and winning games for him.
I think what it does, it just highlights again not getting that victory, not getting that one goal. Listen, I think it would be different if they managed to sneak a goal and they got over the line, because we've seen them do that quite a lot, where they've had loads of possession, loads of control of the game, loads of chances, and they eventually find that breakthrough. But I think it just highlights the little bit of lack of quality within their squad. When you look at the guys that are coming on, it's maybe not the impact that the Celtic fans are actually looking for, and guys who aren't making that impact aren't able to go and get that goal that unlocks a tough Hibs defence. And I just think it's just the frustration that's around the club at the moment. It just highlights it a little bit.
Is that the problem, Chris? This is all just feeds into that wider picture. I was thinking back, most seasons at some point, quite early on, I remember St Johnstone coming and drawing 0-0 early in a season. Obviously Ange Postecoglou got off to a famously slow start. I mean, these things can happen, but is there a fear, Chris, that this is something you might see more often?
Kelly, it was a dodgy penalty to make Celtic win, and then you go back to 2 Champions League games and then the draw against Rangers. This isn't a one-off. Wake up.
Yeah,
this
exactly.
is not a one-off.
Yeah, but it's also but it is officially a domestic one-off, because you can say what you like about the penalty, but it's they still won the game and deserve to win it.
I know, but I think you're going out of your way, with respect, you're going out of your way to not fully acknowledge what Chris can see.
In what sense? I was the one that asked Chris, is this a worry that this might be the start of a repeat? So how is that going out the way if I asked him that this might be a worrying sign of things to come?
Chris goes to the games and can see with his own eyes that the squad, a very good team, has become a very ordinary one on the back of transfer windows that Celtic cannot conduct properly. And that squad, as it appeared today against Hibs, will not sustain Celtic to a title.
I agree.
So Hearts are going to win the league?
That squad will not sustain Celtic to a title.
That squad has lost one goal. Look, I totally agree that they could be stronger and they should be stronger, right? But over a piece and course of this distance of a league campaign, Celtic will probably go and win the title because they've got better players than what Hearts have.
Celtic need a big transfer window in January, but the very subject of transfer windows makes the club look laughable. So they need to try and find somebody who can find them a player or two in January. But the squad, in its present form, is.
So you don't think they're good enough for you to go and win the league at this moment in time?
If Celtic didn't sign another player between now and May, that squad wouldn't win the league.
Yeah, listen, I think they have got a strong enough squad. I think we're probably, and listen, the Celtic fans are frustrated. I think there'll be probably a slight overreaction from today, because certainly from when you look at the stats and you look at the way the game went, if they had scored that one goal, they had enough chances to score. Yes, it's always a concern when you can't get the ball in the back of the net, but the bigger concern is when you're not creating chances. That's a bigger concern for me. And Celtic are creating chances. They eventually will get players, I think. They'll find form at some point, and players will get better. So I still think they have enough to win the league.
Yeah, so do I, and the reason I'm saying it is, and listen, I love the way Hearts are going about their business, but right now you're not telling me Hearts got a better squad than Celtic.
Let's ask Aidan for his thoughts. Take it away, Aidan.
Alright, Panel, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Seen better days, to be fair. I feel like obviously the transfer window was terrible for Celtic. I don't know how many years you can go on with losing your best assets and not replacing them properly. I think the board's saving grace this season's probably been how terrible Rangers have been. But you can't keep letting teams around you spend money and expect them not to catch up eventually. But obviously the board do take a lot of stick for the lack of transfer activity, but I feel like the Celtic team that went to Munich in February never came back. Like, Celtic have been labouring through games for the last 6-7 months. It's continued into this season. It's not ideal. I think that McGregor's played 60-70 games a season. We've not got a replacement for him or a backup. So you can't expect players like that to play week in, week out and be 100% all the time. It's just frustrating because you watch teams like Motherwell, Hearts, they're playing up more attractive football than Celtic are at the moment. Like, they're more enjoyable to watch than we are.
Aidan, Celtic lost the cup final to a very poor Aberdeen team. They couldn't beat Kairat Almaty, home or away. They couldn't score a goal against Kairat Almaty and therefore didn't make the Champions League. I still maintain they got away with one in Belgrade because I thought they were fortunate. Good goal from Iniacho, brave second half performance, but they're not winning the big games and the squad is severely diminished.
The nil-nils are adding up, clearly, when you look at the European games, the Rangers game today.
That's a frustration.
Just quickly on the transfer window that Aidan says, though, I wonder if we'll never be able to change what happened in the Champions League, and the argument there was about the timing. It wasn't done in time, but the 5 million spent on Tonetki, there was 5 million spent on Balikwisha. Ian Acho, yes, it was a bit of a farce at the time, but all of a sudden it looked in the last couple of games like that was going to work out for Celtic and come in. So can we keep harping back all the time to the window? Does there need to be a level of responsibility to actually the identification of players? I mean, I'm thinking someone else mentioned about Matt O'Reilly was never replaced. I know 11 million was spent on Arnie Engels. It's not like there's not been an attempt,
and that's part of the problem, Gordon.
That's what I'm saying.
Greg Taylor, for me, has not been replaced. Engels, this whole argument.
Do you not think a fit Tierney's an upgrade in Greg Taylor?
We need to wait till we get a fit.
Yeah, but he's getting there. He played 90 minutes against us. He played 80 minutes.
It's different though, because Taylor did suit the role so well.
Celtic missed Taylor. Engels, the argument that give him time. Well, time is passing by, and Engels is going backwards, not forwards. Paulo Bernardo clearly not rated by Brendan Rodgers, given that he gets very little game time. All over the park, you're looking at signs of regression, signs of a dip in quality, and the remainder of the Europa League will be a real trial for Celtic, beginning with Braga on Thursday.
Is that, Aidan, on the flip side, on another day, you play this game 10 times over, the stats would suggest Celtic probably win it, and then we're not having this conversation. Is there any part of you that thinks it was just one of those days that didn't happen in front of goal, or is this all a big worry?
To be honest, usually I would be on the more positive side and think that's just a one-off performance, but like you've said, we've seen the same performance from Celtic maybe 3 or 4 times over this season.
But that's what I mean. Was today not better than that? There have been some really kind of, like, Celtic never looked like scoring in those games, but did today. If we're talking just pure performance level,
no, because it's still too passive. Like, we look afraid to get on the ball and be positive. The amount of wasted passes going side to side, backwards. Like, I'm genuinely sick of seeing our 2 centre-halves step out and play the ball to the fullback. Like, under Ange, like, you would have so many rotations, so many different passages of play where we were creating goals and killing teams. Like, under Rodgers, probably since February of this year, we've looked a shell of a team. Like, the way Celtic started the season last season compared to how we finished it and how we've started this season, it's night and day. And I know for a lot of people, the board are to blame because they've not replaced the players properly, but Rodgers has got to take some of the heat because he's still got a more than good enough team there to canter to a league title, and we look as if we're struggling. We look as if we're labouring through every game.
Let's ask Paddy his thoughts. Thank you, Aidan.
Hi, good evening, panel. Good evening, Gordon.
Hello.
Guys, I clearly was watching a different game from that of your previous 2 callers and that Hugh was watching, because the performance, it was an excellent performance. It was Celtic were playing very fast, fluid football. Even with the changes that went throughout the team today, there was excellent balance there, and we did everything but score. I mean, okay, you say, you hit the bar a couple of times, you get a goal chopped off, and you miss some glaring opportunities. However, the fact of the matter is, the players, they got themselves into the positions to score, including Kenny, Inacho as well. It was one of those days. Now, had we not created those chances, had we not been confident on the ball, had there not been this, constant forward press, because, let's face it, Hibernian had their backs to the wall for the whole of the game. Now, that's not to discredit Hibernian in any way. However, You know, I personally, I thought Celtic's play, all-round play, was excellent today.
I do think there's
no fear.
There is a conversation there, isn't there, about the balance, because everybody knows it's just about getting results. You would obviously rather play poorly, and but as an example, I reckon that was a better Celtic performance than the one where they beat St Mirren.
Yeah,
on the opening day of the season.
Yeah,
so it's obviously trying to strike that balance. You're Celtic, you can't go celebrating good performances when you don't win. But to use that comparison, Celtic played better today than when they beat St Mirren.
Yeah, and everybody's given all the plaudits to Hibs how they've started the season. Okay, they've tailed off it a little bit, but they've still got some good players there, experienced players. They made it very difficult. Look, you're going to get some times where it's a frustrating day. It sounded like a frustrating day at Celtic Park. We didn't witness the game, but by the stats, Celtic were in total control of the game, missed chance after chance. And another day, Celtic probably walk away there maybe 2-0 or 3-0, whatever it may be. But all credit to Hibs. They worked very hard. They got their well-deserved point. I agree. I don't see this Celtic team being, you know, I thought they could have been a lot stronger. I think one or two players are still to find their feet. They're obviously missing two very key players, and Alistair Johnston at right back and Jota, which gives them something extra as well, especially going forward. But I'm not going to sit here after 6 games and Celtic draw 0-0 with Hibs and think, oh, Hearts have got to win the league. I don't believe
Paddy, does it not look like there is a bit of a drop-off though in quality at the top end of the pitch when you see maybe some of the changes and some of the players that are having to be turned to?
Well, you know, guys, we'll see. We're just a few games into the season, and of course, you know, we do have a new strike force. I like that that front line of Maeda. You had Sebastian on the other side. He didn't have a great game today, and of course we've got a new striker, an actual in through the middle. And I thought they really did look a potent force. I just have to say, you know, likes of Sebastian that's on the right wing.
Tanetki.
I think we've got to manage him carefully. He's more or less, I think his body clock's coming down, winding down to the end of his season. He's played all year. He played in the Scandinavian League. He played all through the summer. You know, so I think he's going to have to be carefully managed. But all in all, guys, I mean, I think we're in an excellent position. I would be surprised at the end of the season if we're not, you know, win that league by 20 odd points.
What?
You know, but, yeah. I would be surprised. But the other good thing is Celtic have money in the bank to go out in the transfer window, and by all accounts, the board fully agree with the disgruntled fans in the sense that they want to do things better, and they are going to strive towards putting in place measures that will allow us to do that. Now, I don't agree with the fans that say you've got to spend all the money. You've got to spend it all. You've got to spend it all now. Nonsense. I'm concerned with domestic dominance, and on top of that, obviously building towards putting a competitive team in for the European competitions, whatever that way may be.
I know I get criticised on this programme for exaggeration, but Celtic to win the league by over 20 points is an unrealistic, ill-founded, ill-judged reaction.
You'd probably get better odds on that than Hearts winning the league at the moment, though, wouldn't you?
Well,
so we'll just need to wait and see. You might be right, Celtic, but we'll just need to wait and see.
Well,
so we won't need to wait and see.
Celtic to win the league by more than 20 points is a nonsensical observation to me.
I don't think it'll happen either, but I'm saying there is literally no choice but to wait and see.
Dazzler talks about other days. They started with St Mirren at home, very lucky to get a late goal off a deflection. They went to Kilmarnock, very lucky to get a penalty that never was a penalty. Went to Ibrox, got away with one because of a VAR decision that ruled out a John Souttar goal.
Correctly. So how's that getting away with one then, if it's the right decision?
I'm pointing out days to you when this Celtic
but I'm asking you, how is a correct offside decision been identified getting away with one?
Well, only in the sense that you're an inch or two away. These things happen. They got away with one at Kilmarnock because they get a penalty that wasn't a penalty and was given by VAR.
But you're talking about all the negatives there about getting away with one and everything. They dominated the game today. It wasn't like they got away with a 0-0 draw. They dominated the game, a game they should have won.
Anyway, we're very late for this break, so thank you to Paddy. We're about 5 minutes late for it, in fact. 01419511025. Keep the calls coming. What about tomorrow at Livingston? Rangers fans, how are you feeling? Big game at Fir Park tonight as well. Keep going in today's 3 o'clocks. It's up to you. Give us a call. We'll speak next.
This season, I want to feel it from the start, from the whistle, from the first touch. Want to beat the odds, want to take an early lead, want to see why he costs so much money, want to shout pen before the ref is even called in, want to see the call go our way for once. I want to hear their lot go quiet, want to see them leave early, want to drop into the group chat to tell them I've seen the future, want to hear them agree, and if not I'll say, want to bet? Bet Fred. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
I'm Professor Noel Fitzpatrick, and as a vet, I know you want the best care for your animal companion. Pet insurance can help, but you need to choose wisely as not all policies are the same. Pet Plan aim to pay claims quickly and without a fuss, and that's one reason why so many vets work with them.
Get your pet the best veterinary care. Save 10% on new policies when you insure at petplan.co.uk. T's and C's apply. Fitz Media is an appointed representative of Pet Plan Limited.
The games are over. The talking begins. 0141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboard's open line.
Hugh Keevins, Cammy Bell and Gordon DL are here. It's 01419511025 if you want to join in. Brian is on. How are you, Brian? What did you make of it today at Celtic Park?
I didn't really get a chance to watch it because I've not got it on my television. I'm just following up about the last caller about Celtic winning 20 points at the end of the season, which I think is absolutely ludicrous. That's just impossible. But my point is this transfer window, if Celtic had a decent transfer window, got the players in, this game of the day, it would have been talked about, but knowing the rate that it's talked about this and that in the transfer window. Yeah. I don't know if this is going to get to the point where it could get to the players. I know that some players don't really listen to outside noise, but some do. And it's just any time something goes wrong, it's just the usual scenario, transfer window. Can the Celtic, I know the Celtic supporters, I'm a Celtic fan, and I'm not best pleased about it, but I've kind of managed to let it go and just back the team because what they're doing, it's not exactly right on the team, and it's not right on the players. If you're going to back your team, you back your team through thick and thin, which I've done through my life. And it's just, Brendan Rodgers, I know the press conference coming up, and there's going to be some journalists coming up saying, what about the transfer window? This keeps coming back to the transfer window, and nobody wants to talk about that. I would love to forget about that and just concentrate on what we've got.
Yeah, it's just so difficult though, because I think Brian started by sort of explaining the reasons why it sets the tone. Those are the circumstances by which I don't keep repeating it to let Celtic off the hook today. It's about realising where we are. You can draw games of football. Mm-hmm. Celtic won't win every game, but when you do it after that window, it's then sort of inevitable that it'll go there. But Brian's wanting to maybe try and shift it forward a bit.
Again, he has to speak to his fellow Celtic fans, because the Celtic collective, and as you pointed out earlier, that amounts to an awful lot of Celtic supporters. They won't let the subject drop. I'm trying to take the broad overall picture here and summarise it by saying Celtic now have a squad that looks to me modest in quality, where once upon a time they had a squad that was, capable, as everyone mentions, going to Bayern Munich and almost getting something there. They have diminished in quality, visibly diminished in quality. You're still ending up, and James Forrest is the most decorated Celtic player in the club's history. However, James Forrest is now being the put on more often than James Forrest should be on. And Johnny Kenny, it shouldn't be at the stage of Johnny Kenny being on the park. And I will say that £10 million was spent on Tunekti and Balikwisha, and Tunekti has looked promising. Balikwisha so far, and I have my learned friend Gordon Duncan's word for it, will never amount to a Celtic player. And in general terms, the squad is regressing, and regressing badly.
The difficulty, I suppose, when you maybe do have an imbalance, you do have certain areas, because as Hugh quite rightly says, Tunetki looks like a success already from the transfer window, given the circumstances around it. Iheanacho looks, I think, certainly better than people maybe thought.
Better than Nida, you've got to see an upgrade.
But then what happens is you fall into the trap of thinking, I think the previous caller mentioned it, just start Tunetki every game, play him the vast majority of the minutes, and he'll make it work. When football's not like that, he was maybe a bit quieter today.
Yeah, I was surprising, because I think every Celtic fan going along to Celtic Park today was looking forward to seeing him in the big pitch, because his two games were Kilmarnock away and Partick away.
Good point. So he prefers Astro or long grass.
yeah. And I think the excitement was to go and say, on the big pitch with plenty of possession, we'll get the ball to him and he'll destroy Hibs, but it didn't happen. I think Hibs obviously done a little bit of homework in that. Maeda played off the right hand side. Look, I agree. I think that when you look at some of the substitution, you look, for instance, where Hugh, I think, picks up on a good point, and I've been looking at him for the last couple of weeks now, especially in Europe as well. Callum McGregor, you can't criticise Callum McGregor, he's been brilliant for Celtic, but there comes a time when I think that some players just need that little take him and sit him in the dugout for a couple of weeks. Celtic fans will probably be shouting, we can't do without our captain. I don't think Callum McGregor's influencing games the way that he used to, and he's been a brilliant, and he's still going to be a brilliant player for Celtic. I'm not writing him off, but I look at guys like Bernardo's and people like that, they're not getting much game time at all. Kenny comes on today, and look, everybody was crying out the fact that, hold on a minute, Ralston was injured, Johnston's injured. Donovan came on and played a few games at right back and was excellent. I thought he was brilliant the other night. So sometimes the younger players have to get the opportunity. On another day, I think Johnny Kenny scores. He got a few chances today. He scores, and it'd be a completely different story. I don't think it's as bad as what it is, but I agree with Hugh that it's not as strong as what it should be.
Let's thank Brian and stay in Barmulloch, though, where Scott also resides. Go on, Scott.
Don't know where to start with, guys, to be honest with you. I'm hearing people talking about we hit the bar twice. One was a cross shot and the other one, fair enough, for a decent strike. The manager takes off in the actual, where I think there's about half an hour to go, and all he does is moves Dies in the middle of the park and brings on James Forrest. 10 minutes later, the end decides, no, that's not working. Let's take Dies in off. We'll bring somebody else on. So it brings Johnny Kenny on, puts him in the middle of the centre forward. The same Johnny Kenny that's not played since the nothing each straw at Ibrox, by the way. But he's had no game time. So if he's missed a couple of chances, he's missed them because he's probably not sharp enough. Other point is, we've now
just on that, what would you have done, Scott? What would you have done? What would your changes have been?
Well, I've been on the programme before, and you know what I'm going to say. I'd have went to two up front and go and win the game.
So what, Kenny and Maeda? Or?
Yeah, no, Kenny and Iheanacho. I wouldn't have took Iheanacho off.
Jinky's got these 90 minutes consistently in him at the moment, given where he's been and not played and stuff. I think that's maybe a consideration.
Well, how do you get the 90 minutes by playing 90 minutes?
Well, look at Kieran Tierney just now. Yeah. Kieran Tierney, since the start of the season, played 190 minutes against Partick Thistle. The modern day game, listen, I'm with you. I'm no arguing against your point, because it really baffles me at times. But modern day game is managers and sports scientists.
If I can get back in.
Managers and sports scientists manage players. You've seen it with the young right back today. Why was he not playing?
If it's form only, he plays today.
100%, 100%, Gordon. So I understand what you're saying, keep him on, but there will always have been a game plan this afternoon that if he didn't get injured, he would play a certain time and then they would make the substitutions.
What else are you thinking, Scott?
Well, that's 10 matches. We've drew 4 of them, nothing each, and another one each. Can the manager not see that his formation's getting either found out, or it's too stale, or it's too static? That's 5 matches out of 10 that we've drew. And by the way, the 2 games against the team at Almaty was nothing short of disgraceful. The lack of attempts we had in target over both of them. And we were lucky to get a win down at Kilmarnock as well. So out of 10 matches, we've had 5 draws and 1 win. We were lucky. Tell me, how can the board take the brunt for this when the manager steadfastly refuses to change his tactics? They threw Johnny Kenny on the day in desperation. As for Pablo Bernardo, somebody else commented about that. That guy's been treated like a pariah for some reason. He's hardly been on the pitch. Yet last season, plenty minutes. This season, nothing. So you tell me what's going on at Celtic Park, because it's not just all about the board. I'm really, really angry with this. I've been going to Celtic Park since I was a little kid. I've my season booked nearly over 40 years now. And I'm watching this manager, and he gets away with murder with some of his, the way he talks, the way he makes players. He sends his players out for no apparent reason. They don't get any game time. Somebody needs to do something, because I'll tell you what, it's not all on the board. No way is it all on the board. The manager's got to stand up. We lost to St Johnstone. We lost a cup final with Aberdeen. We get put out of Europe by one of the worst teams I've seen play at Celtic Park.
What's the St Johnstone defeat though? What do you mean?
Last season, St Johnstone defeated Muirton Park. If you don't, McDermott Park. Sorry,
but that's not consequential.
No, but I think Scott is symptomatic of a Celtic support, and Scott's coming up the stats about goalless games, drawn games, and rightly bringing Brendan Rodgers and the players into the conversation, because 2 games against Almaty, a total of 3.5 hours, no goals. It's all symptomatic of a squad that is in regression, that does not have the quality required. There's a concern over transfer windows. January you might have the chance to bring in better players, and this is where the board and those who are responsible for that, Scott, have to come into the conversation. You couldn't trust anyone to buy anyone for Celtic right now. The way they're going about their business, good players are going out the door and inadequate players are coming in.
Yeah, but Scott's right, and I totally agree with him. I think everything gets pointed at the board, and I understand why in the protest. Totally get it. But Brendan Rodgers has still got decent players at his disposal that he should be doing, and Scott's rhyming off games that he should be doing a little bit better. I know everybody harps on about, oh, hold on a minute, they lost the Scottish Cup final to Aberdeen, a poor Aberdeen. They won the double. They won 2 trophies that season. They were going for a treble.
See if on days like today, because I know we like to broad brush everything, and I kind of get it, but on days like today, if your failure to win is down to chance conversion rather than chance creation, do you think those are the days where the formation should have changed? Do you know what I mean? You change your formation, I don't know if that makes you score those chances. Listen, I think Scott's right in other games. Some have looked really quite blunt in an attacking sense.
Again, you can go back to the Champions League games and the Old Firm game, again, really blunt, no really any great deal of chances. But today they had enough chances to win the game. They absolutely did.
And that doesn't make it okay, but I'm talking about specifically the formation. Do you change the formation today? Does it?
What you're saying is quite right, Gordon. They created the chances playing the formation they played, right? They could have still created the chances with a 4-4-2, but still not taken them. But it wasn't the formation today.
It wasn't today.
No,
not
it wasn't the formation. I know what Scott's saying. Sometimes everybody, I'm a great lover of 4-4-2. I love it. But managers don't tend to do it. But today wasn't a formation mistake from Brendan Rodgers. But I do agree with Scott that Brendan Rodgers shouldn't get off scot-free here and just point everything at the board. He's the manager. He's got good players and a lot of money there.
Squeeze Aidan in quickly. Thank you to Scott. Go on, Aidan.
Hello, how are you doing?
Good, Aidan. What did you make of it?
I thought the second half was pretty rubbish, which everyone's been saying, but I actually was thinking the first half was probably the best half of football that we've played all season, which I don't know if itself should be concerning, but I thought it was the exact kind of way that we should be playing. We were quite relentless in that first half, and I don't know what it was about the second half, that the second that we stepped back onto the pitch, we just reverted to the same kind of side to side, recycle the ball kind of style of play.
Because it's funny, Cammy, we never look at really what the other team do in these circumstances. It's the supply and demand nature of the argument. Hibs have not kept a lot of clean sheets. No. So on one hand you can say That's terrible from Celtic. Everybody scores against Hibs and you haven't managed to. On the other, it looked like Hibs really prioritised that today. We talked about the changes where Grant Hanley comes in, and it felt like that was the bit they really wanted to put right. And then if Celtic are off it in an attacking sense and Hibs are at it in a defensive sense, that's probably why it led to what we got today.
Listen, a point at Celtic Park for Hibs is a good point. So I think David Gray, you're right, Gordon, by saying that David Gray prioritised the defensive display before going on the attacking display. Yes, he would have wanted a spring in his attack when they got the ball in a transition to go forward and threaten the Celtic goal, which they didn't offer at all, to be honest. But again, you need to give Hibs credit, but it's not an excuse for Celtic, because Celtic face this a lot. They face this a lot at Celtic Park, where teams come, frustrate them, sit in, ask them to break them down, and once that one goal comes, they have to then come out.
Thank you very much, Aidan. Sorry it was short and sweet. We're running late as always. It's a busy Saturday. 0141 951 1025. What are you thinking ahead of tomorrow, Rangers fans? And we'll get kick-off from Fir Park. A big night, particularly for Aberdeen, and it is coming next.
After the action, it's your reaction. 0141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboard's open line.
Hugh Keevins, Gordon Dalziel, Cammy Bell are here. We're kicking off between Motherwell and Aberdeen. We're looking back on today. What about tomorrow, Rangers fans? Or Alan, in fact, who's a Livy fan. What are you thinking, Alan?
Yeah, I'm thinking that it's probably, you would think it's a great opportunity for Livingston to get something out of the game tomorrow in the form the Rangers have been in. All of our home games this year, we were away at Dundee last week, and we didn't really start playing until well into the second half. We gave Dundee 2 goals at start last week, and in all fairness, they're not a great team, and if we'd been playing to our full potential, I think we would have won that. But I believe tomorrow might be Rangers' first victory of the season against us in the league. I just think they'll be too strong. Although Davies got us playing well. When we do play really well. We played really well against Hearts, and we're unfortunate not to get anything out of the game. But I just think that Rangers might be a bit strong.
Listen, and they may well be. We keep saying it, Hugh, and it's really boring that people want better analysis than this. Yeah. Rangers will win at some point. They just can't not simply keep going on. However, you would, at the moment, that's what you're using as your case. Not you, anybody. That's what we're using as the case, rather than any sign really domestically that Rangers would win.
For me, tomorrow, about attitude of mind. They've taken yet again a pounding since Thursday night when they were very poor. The manager is taking beyond a pounding. Now, no one likes to go to Livingston, no one likes to play there on a Sunday, no one likes the pitch, on and on it goes. These Rangers players have got to somehow find an attitude of mind that makes them illustrate the difference in class between Rangers and Livingston. Rangers are players who cost millions of pounds to assemble and don't look it. Livingston have the usual guys from all around the place, but Davy Martindale turns them into a team. So the longer the game goes on, if Rangers haven't scored, the more difficult the day becomes for them. And that has to be Livingston's approach to the match. Keep it stalemate for as long as you possibly can.
It's got to be a must-win for me tomorrow. I'm looking, I know we're not even into October, but I'm looking at that league table. Hearts got another 3 points today. I think we'll fancy Celtic to eventually go and win the league. So if you're looking at Hearts there and you're trying to catch into second place, you've given them a 12-point start already. That's a lot of points to claw back. And as much as there's a lot of games still to go, especially with the squad that Hearts and obviously Celtic are favourites for, in my opinion, to win the league. So I think this is a must-win game for Rangers tomorrow at Livingston.
They're all must-win games for Rangers. I mean, they'll go to Sturm Graz Thursday night, and they have to hope that Europe doesn't turn into a nightmare, where once Europe used to be the shining light for Rangers, even though they were poor in domestic competition.
Is there anything that Russell Martin can... It's funny, for all the negativity, we don't really debate the team too much. It goes back to what I said earlier a few hours ago about it's just like all on Russell Martin, really. Yep. Do you know what I mean? We don't, for a team that's struggling so much, we don't really get much of he should play instead of him, or he should come out. Is there any, what?
Listen, I think he has chopped and changed at points, and it's just never worked for him yet. So again, that's probably why we're not debating it. We're debating him and his decisions and his tactics, the way that he's playing, the style that he's playing, because he's not getting results. Will Mikey Moore play tomorrow? I think for me it's time for him to drop out of the team. I think again, Ant-Man's not really had a huge amount of game time since he's joined the club. He had that first game where everyone thought he was going to be unbelievable player for Rangers, and again he's been pulled out of the team. So for me, Rangers are massive favourites tomorrow. They are. There's no getting away from it. Where they sit in the league is a false position for the team that they've got.
And he's got to bring Majowski back in.
He's got to, yes, sure, absolutely.
No, £8 million rising to 10.
Does it matter who it is at the moment if Rangers keep the ball away from them as much as they have in recent games?
I think Majowski scores tomorrow if he plays. I
think he gives you a lot more. So I think he'll be back. I totally agree with young Moore. I think he's really struggled since he come up. He's a young kid, he's 18, he's come up with this big reputation. Listen, Scottish football, it come up, it doesn't matter if you're at Tottenham and everybody talks about how much you're going to be worth and your career you're going to have. Scottish football is very difficult.
Alright, let's thank Alan giving us the Livingston perspective. What about the Rangers corner with James in Drumchapel? James?
Hi, how are we doing, guys? Alright?
Good, how are you?
Come alright. Tomorrow I'm actually fearing going to Livingston. I've seen better teams than this go to Livy and struggle, but under Russell Martin I can't see anything other than Rangers dropping more points tomorrow. My main concern is having a manager that is telling the world that our players are scared. I have never heard that in my puff about a Rangers team, that Rangers players are scared to go and play against Dundee and Motherwells and Livingstons. If that's the case, they shouldn't be at the club then for me. And that is my major thing, because you think David Martindale and Big Marv tomorrow, do you think they're going to say, oh, well, we're scared? Don't get near them, guys. They're going to be in our faces tomorrow, but knowing full well that we can't handle it. And I think with Russell Martin's tactics, I think he's very arrogant. He won't change. We're no Manchester City. We can't build for the back. We can't play these 6-7 passes to get ourselves out. We end up putting ourselves into more damage than anything else. And I just think that going forward, Martin should have been sacked 3 months ago. No.
How would you?
When
you sacking him 3 months ago?
But he should never have got the job back.
Alright, okay, alright. I thought you meant like just in and out in the same day. Right, okay, fair enough.
He should never have been in for me, because it's just an absolute embarrassment. We've turned into another laughing stock again. Now, if Aberdeen get their finger out and win, I think they play tonight. If they win, there's a chance we're bottom of the league.
Yeah, I'm going round in circles a bit on the sort of atmosphere and what that's doing, because James was right, there was the anxiety comment. I don't know if is that an Ibrox thing for when Ibrox turns.
Self-preservation comment.
Tomorrow goes to Livingston, so it's not a home crowd, but it almost will be, because you know what Livingston's like. It'll be 3/4 probably, maybe even more Rangers. So I'm interested in that side of it as well, Hugh. The away fans tend to be a bit more vociferous as well. Is there more anti-Russell Martin stuff? I don't know.
Oh yeah, there'll be plenty of that before the game even starts. I think back to St Mirren and Paisley, the day famously when Igomani refused to go onto the park, and Rangers, St Mirren scored, were dominating the game, and Rangers looked intimidated by it all. They can't be like that at Livingston, or James and his fellow Rangers fans will really be at the end of their tether. But it already looks as if there is no Rangers supporter who has any hope left, so long as Russell Martin is there, and no Rangers supporter who is willing to give him any more time. So if they drop any points at Livingston tomorrow, I don't know where they go. You need to bring Andrew Kavanagh back from Philadelphia and say, look, are you seriously telling us that this is it for the season?
Look, James is mentioning one of the key points in his mind. They shouldn't have got the job in the first place. So therefore, if you already have that mindset and it starts badly and it gets even worse somehow against Livingston, then James, he's
how many times did we see it in this programme, when he get appointed the manager, the first thing we were all saying is he's got to hit the ground running, because there was so much negativity round about him when he came in. to the job. So if that's the case right away, and James is saying he shouldn't even have the job, and by the way, he's not alone in saying that, then you've got to be successful early in your...
But Russell Martin, again, every interview you hear from now on is that the Rangers fans didn't want me in the first place. That's his throwaway comment. He throws it out there and lets the Rangers fans hear that. For me, it's just not been good enough. And again, tomorrow is massive for Russell Martin. It's massive for the players. Again, the scared comment, I don't think goes down well with players. I really don't. I think there's guys in that changing room. James Tavernier that's played 500 games for Rangers. I think he's been in worse positions where, again, a lot of the criticism was getting directed at him, not just the whole team and the management staff. So listen, I don't think the players go on the pitch scared. I think that he's got to take a little bit of responsibility with his tactics and the way he sets the team up.
You can't see a win tomorrow then, James?
My heart will always say aye, but I just don't know, guys, because going to Livingston, especially on that, you know, the artificial park and stuff like that, I know we keep bringing it up and stuff like that, right, but it is a hard place to go. Livingston don't make it easy for you at any time of the year, and like I said, I've seen better Rangers teams go there and struggle under like Steven Gerrard and under Van Bronckhorst as well, with better teams then, but it's just, I just can't get to grips with the manager. For me, I just think it was a poor appointment, with the buzz about being taken over. Now, don't get me wrong, I think anybody that was coming in to take that job, it would have been a gamble and a risk appointing somebody, but we needed a figurehead. We needed somebody that was going to get in about that dressing room, and the players, they need to take half of the blame as well for me. However, that then comes down to, I don't think the players that he's brought in are good enough to be Rangers players. I can't name one person you can say, well, do you know what, he's alright, or he's decent. Sorry, I'll say Miovski, right, but we don't play to what Miovski's strengths are. Miovski's strengths are get the ball on the tap and let the guy run over it and hassle people.
James, that's the biggest worry of all, because if you do get rid of Russell Martin and bring in another guy, and he can't get them forward, then you've signed players who are no use to you.
Goalless at Fir Park at the moment. Motherwell with most of the ball, but Aberdeen with the only 2 shots on goal so far. And I'm going to hot foot it there for the second half.
Ready, steady, go.
We will
come on then, let's go.
Leave you. The GBX is up next, and the guys are back tomorrow as well. Enjoy your Saturday.